What up, New York Giant Nation? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, coming back at y'all with the Week 18 edition of the True Blue Aftermath. And yeah, just as I predicted earlier in my pregame, in my preview show, the Washington football team put us out of our misery. Now with another L, another double-digit loss for the New York Football Giants. Way to go! The end of the season, 6 straight L's with double-digit loss by double-digit points. You gotta really try to be that bad. I feel like you gotta absolutely try to be that fucking bad. The defense, once again, played admirably. 6 of those points that Washington scored, the offense was completely responsible for. As one of them, as you know, touchdown was a pick 6. I want to see this team look competent again, not just on one side of the football. There's more phases to the game than just defense, obviously. Our defense plays good enough to win each and every week. And this offense can't go out there and do anything. That's on coaching. Something needs to be fixed. I don't want to hear about talent and this, that, and other. These cats is in the NFL, which means they're better than regular people, than just average Joes. They're better than the average guy who just plays a little football. They're NFL talent. You got to find a way to make the guys you got work. What's going on, AK, man? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, man, but I done got used to it, man. At this point, I didn't expect nothing much from this game, but I just wanted to see if we could actually show up and have a little better effort than we have been showing. And clearly, we wasn't up to that task, bro. But I appreciate you for stopping by, man. Yeah, this team is a joke, man. Offensively at least, they're an absolute joke. It's hard to even continue to waste breath on this team, man, because that's how bad it is. Like, I was trying to make a point earlier on another stream, man, and I love all my guys. Shout out to the Big Blue crew, man. Be representing, man. I don't know if we're totally not under, because I think we're kind of all roundabout in the same range, but I think we just got a little bit different methods about how we feel like we need to clean this shit up. Because I'm sorry, you can't go out on the field if that's what you got, and if you know that he's just garbage, man. You can't go out there with that dude, man. Can't go out there and play football with that guy, man. You find something. There's always unemployed guys just sitting around on their couch, hoping and waiting they can get in the game, man. You know what I mean? Just hoping they could get a phone call. You can't tell me guys like Glennon and Fromm out there throwing the kind of passes they throwing is the best available out there to bring in. I mean, Glennon been here all season, so he's a different kind of situation. But just Jake Fromm, cat, man, you brought him in, man. What did you see that said, let's get this dude a contract? What did you see? What did he do to say, yeah, let's go ahead and bring him in? There can't be anybody better than that for us to go acquire. What's going on, Adam?
Yo, Mike, I was just on another stream. Thanks for inviting me. I was on a stream with a bunch of yahoos over there telling me that the only reason they would fire Joe Judge is for a proven head coach. And I'm like, all right, well, now you want to fire him for a proven head coach. Give me an effing break. The guy doesn't deserve to see the light of day on Monday. But yet, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. He's done the back end. He's got great culture. Give me a break. I would bring in Eric Bieniemy. Right now, there are teams right now. I would bring in Dan Campbell. I told them. They're like, oh, no, you wouldn't bring. I'm like, yeah, the team played hard. Look at that team. Oh, well, they played backups.
What's going on, Logan?
What a way to end another New York Giants season.
I'm so glad I went on the other stream and got yelled at about a coach And I told him that this guy played hard for Pat Shurmur, and they won 2 out of the last 3 games of the season, but apparently they didn't play hard for Pat Shurmur. Give me a break. I don't know what I have to say to get these guys through their head that they're not the smartest in the world about their evaluations of Joe Judge.
I was just trying to tell them the same. Like I was saying, like my biggest problem with this offense is that if you know it's this bad, what are you seeing that makes you keep going forward with these guys on the field? Like, how do you not even attempt to bring anybody else in, something to make this thing look at least more competent? It's not about the loss. It's how we're losing. We're losing, and it's embarrassing.
Right, exactly. But it's okay because he fixed the filing cabinet, and we're good to go. We're good to go. Hey, guys, I mean, I hope you got the complimentary soda and filing cabinet I just sent on Amazon. Okay, because that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting everybody for the end of the year gift, right? And I'm giving that straight stuff to Joe Judge. Oh, look at this idiot. Oh, by the way, I called Ojulari with his 9 sacks, so pat myself on the back there. But this guy is a bum.
Yeah, it's not. You're not adjusting to anything. He's not fixing anything.
What has he done? What has he done, Nick? You tell me.
And he's done nothing good enough. That's my point. Like, it's just not. It's a failure. He's failing.
Right, but we want to bring him back because we want to bring him back and we don't have a coach. Give me a break. I'm sure I could find a coach under a rock somewhere.
I'm tired of hearing excuses about he's not an offensive guy. He's not a defensive guy. He's just the head coach. Yeah, he's the head coach, which means he oversees every damn thing, and he has to and if shit's not working, then he got to take over, do whatever he's got to do, step in and make it happen, man. But this offense does not work. It's a joke.
Look at this domination by the Washington team. They had 226 yards rushing. Let me read that to you. 226 yards rushing. Yet we want to praise the defense for being this great unit. Give me a break. The whole team is broken.
Remember when Joe Judge in his press conference last week said this ain't some clown show organization? 3rd and 9 QB sneak.
3 QB sneaks inside the 1 yard line.
That's when it's like I was saying, they were talking about, so if he throws a pick 6 there, and then y'all be mad, then he called a pass play, throw a pick 6. I want to see you try. Like, I don't want to see you just not like even attempt.
Right, exactly.
Not even trying. At that point, you just said, do a quarterback sneak and punt the ball. What?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, we're not going to do anything. And then you try, and it's like, but then nobody gets it. He doesn't yell at Galladay for not diving on that effort. Come on. Man. That's a ball right through your hands, and you don't even dive for it. You're wide open. It's not like the throw was like 10 yards in front of him. It was right in front of your fingertips.
It was definitely something he should have made a play on.
You're 6'5". You could have stretched out and dove for that ball. I see no effort on this team. I don't see any. That's what I'm talking about in terms of effort right there. Right?
I agree. And that to me comes to coaching, man. That's got to
come. No, Mac. That's not coaching. He can't make Galladay stretch out. No, but that's want to. That comes from the head man. Okay.
Like,
they go offside. They have the same penalties every week. Every week they have the same penalties. You come out on your first drive of the game in the 3rd quarter and you get a false start. You've been sitting in the locker room for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I just don't get it, man, with this football team anymore, man. Offensively, especially, like I said, at least the defense is something you can work with. That offense.
But how come the Jaguars can beat the Colts? Okay, the Lions can go beat the Green Bay Packers. Yet what I hear on another stream is, the Green Bay Packers aren't playing their full roster. I don't give a damn who they're playing.
Exactly. They're still a far better football team than the Detroit Lions. And exactly.
Right. And their excuse was? Exactly. They're like, they won 1 game more than the Lions. I'm like, that's your accomplishment? You won 1 more game than the Lions? Mind you, the Lions have a tie.
You can't convince me we can beat anybody in this right now. Currently,
we can't even beat a high school team. Don Bosco in New Jersey will probably kick this team's ass.
Yeah, this team right now is we can't
Bergen
score points.
Catholic would probably kick this team's butt.
It's
My
like, how
team
can you
would
beat
kick their
anybody
ass.
when we can't score points? I mean, Detroit just scored 34 points on Green
34
Bay
points.
today.
Good point there, Mac. Good point.
So
No
we
pun
can't
intended.
even score. We can't even score 10.
We can't even beat a team that was giving us the football game.
Oh my God!
Washington didn't even want to win.
And absolutely. I was feeling
They didn't even want to win. They only won because they have nothing else to do. It took them to pick 6. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, the defense played well." Yeah, because Washington can't get out of their own friggin' way, and somehow they still scored 22 points.
By the way, you guys want to hear an interesting fact? Saquon Barkley and Devontae Booker each finished with 593 yards exactly this season.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really
Kenny
crazy.
Golladay had 500 yards in 17 games. In 17 games, you've had 1,500 yards of offense from 3 players. You know, Joe Judge's record is 10-21. Daniel Jones' record is 10-21.
The fact that Joe Judge in his 2 seasons still hasn't even caught McAdoo's win total in the 1 year is
That's terrible. But we want to bring him back
terrible.
for a cup of coffee.
No, but Adam, we're building a culture. We need to bring him back to build the culture.
We'll build a culture of losing because that's what our delusional fan base thinks is culture. Or I shouldn't say delusional fan base. 2 delusional people that we know think that he's doing a good job because I went in the corporate world and, bringing in people and, yeah, it's great. Oh, they show up on time. Good job. Give me a break, man. Take some accountability. You
Absolutely.
and me both know, Mac, we've been in the workforce for most of our lives. We show up.
Yeah.
That doesn't. People don't want that. People don't want that. This is not Montclair State University where you show up and get a C+. Okay? You show up to Montclair State, you get a C+ just for showing up to class. That's Joe Judge. You get a C+ just for showing up.
Yeah, it's just mind blowing to me.
4-13 is progress, guys. 4-13. Let's bring him back. Oh, but now they changed their tune. If we can get a proven head coach, now you're going to fire him? Give me a break. Give me a break. That's talking out both sides of the mouth. It's true. Because if I bring in Dan Quinn here, everything's forgotten. Okay, Joe Judge can be fired now. Like, no. You bring in Eric Bieniemy. I said to them, you bring in Eric Bieniemy, you give these guys 3 years. Well, how you know you're going to get 3 years? I said, how you know they're not? They act like they know.
That's what I was thinking sometimes, like as if they have some kind of insider information, but
right, like they know Eric Bieniemy is going to fail. I can tell you what, I know Joe Judge is going to fail.
He's failing. He's already failing miserably.
He's past failing. He's in detention.
We're building a culture, guys.
He should be expelled for his putridness. I got Eagles upset to feel my pain. How come I have a team in Philadelphia right down the road who came in here? They were supposed to be the number 4 team in the division. Come in here, they're number 2 now, and they're headed to the playoffs
with a rookie head coach.
And we were supposed to spend $200 million. We spent $200 million to get 4-13 as a result. We can't even field a 53-man roster on the last Sunday of the year.
Something that, man. Thank you, bro. I am having a good weekend, man. Even though these Giants just, they try to ruin it every weekend. But this
team is like constipated.
It was like I said on my preview video, like it's like get this goal line, it's like they spray COVID on it or something. Nobody wants to go near it. Or something. It's ridiculous, man.
I mean, sprayed COVID on it. I don't know what they sprayed on it. They need to spray Joe Judge with some mace to his face. Maybe wake his little black friggin' dumb ass up. And then you're gonna have Carl Banks say, well, you gotta love Joe Judge. Give me a break, Carl. Stop towing the company line, you dumbass.
He
knows who butters his bread. Give me a break. He knows who butters his bread.
See, right there.
And now we know Joe Judge is safe because of the way he's talking. He knows he's safe now. Yeah, I'm sure he's safe. They told him that now. Steve Tisch hasn't come around yet.
I mean, that's a very good point right here. Because, like you said, Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl, and then 2 years later, got the axe.
Right. You bring in Doug Peterson. Yeah, exactly. 4-12, after a guy wins a Super Bowl, yet we want to bring this guy has done nothing, but we want to bring him back because we like that he's cleaned some stuff up in the back end. Doesn't matter if his team plays well or not. But now we got, now his philosophy is he wants to build on defense. Okay, great. That's a great philosophy, but your offense is your issue. How about go get some proven coaches on the offensive side of the football? Oh, and by the way, let me break this down for you, fellas. It's going to take 8 weeks for that offense to gel. So you better hope that defense can score some points for you come next year, because this team was going to be 1-4, 1-5, 1-6, trying to get their offensive sea legs under them. And we're going to sit here and say, well, it's progress, guys. It's progress. Give me a break. We could bring in Mike Zimmer. He's fired. Oh, but you want to bring in Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, you always want to bring in the big fish. But Jim Harbaugh might be going back to Michigan. You just heard a rumor he might be going back. So if he goes back, what's the point of even entertaining it? We've got guys sitting out there right now, good coaches sitting out there right now. And Zimmer, and, Pete Carroll might be out there. You know what I'm saying? We got Dan Quinn of the Cowboys is out there. But we're going to sit here and wait and keep Joe Judge. And the narrative is he's changed the culture. What culture has he changed? What has he done differently that Pat Shurmur hasn't? I mean, what has he done? What has he done differently that Pat Shurmur hasn't? And don't tell me the back end stuff, because, Pat Shurmur's teams were scoring points at the end of the game. They beat Miami. Okay, they beat the Washington Redskins in the Chase Young game, and then they lost to the season finale against the Eagles. But yet they quit on the team though. They quit on Pat Shurmur. It's cool. It's cool. I'm glad we're all on the same page on what quitting looks like. Because to me, that defense today looked like it quit. That team didn't look like they played for a guy coming back.
I definitely agree.
I got teams playing with backup quarterbacks, effectively making offenses go up and down the field, but yet I'm sitting here waiting for Joe Judge.
That's the point I was trying to make earlier on the stream earlier, and everybody kept trying to shoot it down, talking about, look, you talking about like Fromm was the best player available when we acquired him. He wasn't. There's guys sitting on their couches somewhere that are probably better than Jake Fromm that you could have brought in here. And once you brought Jake Fromm in, what did you see that made you want to actually give him a contract to say, all right, we're going to go with this guy in the event of emergency? I don't know. What did you see? I'm curious. That's what. Go ahead, Logan.
I was going to say, I know I'm a better quarterback than Jake Fromm.
I'm just saying, okay, so you scoured 31 other franchises, and Jake Fromm's the best one you could come up with? I mean, look at the Eagles. They traded for Gardner Minshew. I mean, you telling me you couldn't get that guy for a 6th-round pick? Like anyone's going to miss a 6th-round pick. No, you went bargain basement hunting like you always do. Came up with Jake Fromm, who's a 4th-string quarterback on the Buffalo Bills. For what? For this? You brought in Mike Glennon and said to us that he's a better upgrade than Colt McCoy. But that's okay. That's okay. We're not going to blame him.
No, but Adam, remember, we're not allowed to bring up that article because it's a lie.
Oh, because Giant Insider, because somebody doesn't, subscribe to it, which I do, is it not reputable? Give me a break. I love how people have selective memory. If it doesn't come from a source they know, it's null and void. It's not like I picked it up off TMZ. It's a reputable company that I actually have a subscription to that comes in every week. And I'm burning the magazine as fire fuel, because there's no point even reading the magazine. Well, yeah, I'll read the magazine first, but then I'll put it down for my cats so they can pee on it. That's how pissed off I am.
What the fuck?
Just saying. But now we got Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers who are doing it right. But no, we want to bring back Joe Judge because continuity says so. Because we're giants, we're idiots, we do things half-assed. That's all we ever do in this organization, half-ass it. And then the argument that I get is, well, if you can bring in a proven coach to fire him, so I have to wait another year. I'm waiting 9 months from now for this guy to kick off another season to go 0-1.
6 straight losses by double digits.
And the schedule that we have next year is weak. And if we can't get to the playoffs off that weak ass schedule next year, and I don't want to hear 7 wins and they don't make the playoffs. You got to make the playoffs next year. You're bringing them back. This is your 3rd season. No excuses anymore. I don't want to hear excuses for this guy because that's all I ever hear for him and Daniel Jones is excuses. No one has any balls anymore. We're so beaten down that we got neutered from all the losing that we don't have any fucking cojones to say, this sucks. Let's end this.
When I brought up the injury thing, everybody's talking about, oh, well, the other teams have more depth than us. Really? Because like I said, some of these cats out there playing with, I didn't even know those guys' names before they had to step on the field. It's just about being coaching up the guys that you got to go with, man.
Exactly.
Exactly. We're not getting that done. We're failing in that category.
Exactly. Coaching up the guys, and everyone's like, well, the defense played hard. I'm like, what is that's it? That's what you want to hang your hat on, that the defense played hard? Okay, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to make plays. How many plays have they done besides 1 pick six? The Giants have had 1 pick six against the Raiders.
The defense is not, like you said, it's not perfect, but at the same time, at least I see effort on that side of the football. I see effort.
I see effort on every side of the football on another team. But look at the 49ers. They're already playing hard.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, like other teams, you see the full effort. I don't see it at all on the offensive side. Like I feel like the defense does play well enough to keep us in games and win football games most weeks.
Yeah,
especially this past month. But
you know what, Mac? Playing to keep us in games does nothing if your team can't take over a football game. Right?
I agree. 100%.
All these other defensive, look at the Rams. The Rams have defensive dogs out there. They got Von Miller. They got Aaron Donald. Their team can win a game defensively. We are hoping that our team keeps it to a field goal. They give up yardage up and down the field.
Yeah.
They do give up a lot of big plays. They do.
I mean, I get it. They kept them to 3 points. They held them to 6 points. It took them a half to score 6 points. And we didn't do anything.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
What are we doing here? But we want to say, oh well, bring back Joe Judge because he's the best of what's out there. No, he's not.
Hey Mac, I gotta go, but I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, thanks for stopping by, man. What's going on here, squad?
What's up, man? I'm just saying, I just don't understand people's logic when they tell me, oh, well, we need to keep Joe Judge because he's the only one out there. No, the Giants want to keep Joe Judge. If you look at it, I've done this, Mac. I've done this scenario in my head. So let's break it down. So they fire Tom Coughlin, keep Jerry Reese. Okay. They promote McAdoo. He goes 11-6, 11-6 if you count the playoff loss. He goes 2-11 or whatever it is that he goes because he gets fired before the end of the year. So he goes 2-6 or 2-11. All right. They fire him and Jerry Reese, bring in Pat Shurmur and Dave Gettleman at the same time. Now they expected to have a 3-year plan with this guy. They fire Pat Shurmur after 2 years because of dumb shit that went on and media stuff. And obviously, the defense is not playing well. So they fire him.
Going on, Lou?
They bring him. So now Dave Gettleman has now hired and fired Pat Shurmur and brings in Joe Judge. So he brings in Joe Judge, and now we're going to fire or retire whatever his name is, Dave Gettleman, to then have Joe Judge stick around because he fixed the filing cabinet, and that's it. 4-13. 4-13 equals progress. Hey, Lou, man, I just want to let you know that 4 is greater than 6. So all the mathematics you learned in high school or in your life means nothing.
Oh,
because
shit.
4 wins is better than 6.
I don't know who told you that lie.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's what it looks like to me because, I got a public school education. They told me 6 is greater than 4, but apparently in Giant world, 4 is greater than 6.
Shit, I went to public school too, my nigga. And
Right.
6 has always been greater than 4. I don't know. I mean, yeah.
But in Giants world, in Giants country, you get a free soda and a high five, and 4 is better than 6.
Listen, look. I've watched all the debates that you guys have had. I've been part of the streams while you guys have blown your load, so to speak. No pun intended.
Inappropriate. Inappropriate.
Stop it. No, listen. You guys have blown your lid on everybody's streams, on Pat streams, on Miz's streams. You guys have all given your opinion, and I understand. And I was for the don't fire Joe Judge and all that shit. And Garrett was forced on him. But at this point, I just want a fucking reputable coach who's done it before, who's built the damn franchise, and I want to win.
Right.
But I don't want another unproven first-time head coach just because it's the new GM's buddy. You know what I mean?
I agree. But when you have now they're changing their tune and they're saying, well, you can get a proven coach in here. Oh, now it's if you can get a proven coach in here. A few weeks ago it was, oh, we can't fire him for anything, blah, blah, blah. But now it's, oh, well, if you get a proven coach in here, well, that's a different story. Oh, give me a break. They changed their mind like the wind blows.
I mean,
well, that's most of the Giants, but that's most of the Giants fan base. That is most of the Giants fan base. Right. The Giants fan base wanted Eli's head on the pike, and then Eli won us a Super Bowl. The Giants wanted Tom Coughlin's ass in the furnace, and then he wins us a Super Bowl. So that's how the Giants fan base has been with everybody. We fucking hated Hostetler, then he comes in and he fucking carries the team, and then we love Hostetler. Yeah, I mean, this franchise has been, the fan base has been like that for as long as I've been alive. That's just New York and New Jersey for you. We're fucking crazy.
Right. And my point is and I wasn't trying to debate whether or not he should be back because we obviously know that he might be back. My debate was and has always been to do it a clean break together and bring in a GM and a coach together to build.
Well, that's what we should have did with in the beginning when we got rid of Tom Coughlin. We should have got rid of Jerry Reese instead of Tom Coughlin, but we did. So when we got rid of Jerry Reese, we should have got rid of Sherman. No, who was it?
They did. They got rid of. I just went over it. They fired Coughlin, kept Reese. Then McAdoo and Reese got fired together. They bring in Shermer and Gettleman together. They don't even get 3 years to prove if their shit works, right? I told them that they didn't.
But they fired Shermer. They should have gave up Gettleman as well.
Right, exactly. Pretty much, but they didn't. So they did a half-ass. So my point was, and I also said in that other stream that they won 2 out of 3 games for Shermer at the end of the 2019 season. But of course, no one wanted to hear that because the narrative is they didn't play hard for him. And somebody said on another podcast that was I listened to Giant Insider podcast and Jordan Anon podcast, both said that Shermer won 2 out of the last 3 games. They beat the Washington Redskins, the Chase Young Bowl, and they beat the Miami Dolphins in Eli Manning's last football game.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they lost to Philadelphia in 2019. Yet we go and say that because one guy had his golf clubs, Golden Tate, more like Golden Taint. All right. Because he had his golf clubs out. This goes over here. Now we got a coach who gave bulletin board material to a team that's already struggling, who probably would have given us a victory if you just kept your damn mouth shut because they can't get Washington can't even get out of their own goddamn way, right? And we lose this football game.
Well, I agree with everything you said, except for one positive thing came out of this. We're not moving back in the draft.
That's it. I don't want this guy making a pick for us because everyone's like, oh, yeah, 10 picks. What is he going to do? Well, if Joe Judge fails, and right now he's not proven that he's going to win.
I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think he's going to be back. I think they're going to blow it all up.
Really?
Well,
Because
Yeah.
apparently in the press conference, it sounded like a guy who was coming back.
Well, he can sound like whatever, but
I don't
come
think he's
Monday
coming back
morning,
either.
come Monday morning, his ass gonna be looking for a job. In my opinion, I think they're gonna fire him.
Because
we need-
this is
it needs
they
to
need,
happen.
and I got into a
And
discussion-
it's not even because of the coaching. I think it's because of the remarks he made.
right. I think he put his foot in his mouth, and the thing is, here's thing too, right? McAdoo got fired not because he benched Eli Manning. He benched Eli Manning for Geno Smith. Okay.
Right.
And the backlash was that if you're going to bench Eli Manning, at least put in Davis Webb, right?
Yep.
And at least McAdoo probably would have been seen the end of the year. But because Eli Manning was the golden child, and
And you
everybody
put
was mad
Geno
about-
Smith in there.
right, and then everybody fired him. Meanwhile, your owner signed off on that move,
Yeah, and then crucified McAdoo for it.
right? You signed off on the move,
Similar to what they did to Doug Peterson last year. They
right?
said, "Oh well, yeah, bench him and put Sudfeld in so we don't drop back in the draft." And
Then you lose your
you
job.
know, right?
We're
But then
doing
he
what you said.
crucified. Yeah, yep.
I mean, that's like your boss telling you to do something there, Lou, and then you're getting fired for doing exactly what he asked you to do.
Yeah,
Well,
see,
he
I'm
ain't
not
gonna
that
fire
type of
himself.
guy. Somebody getting fucked up. It's not just gonna go down the way they thought.
I'm just saying, like this is what we got here. All right, I got other teams playing hard. Look at the Ravens. Ravens ain't got nobody, and they're playing hard.
Jesus, playing
They got
for
like
nothing
7
but
different.
field balls.
Breaking news. On another note, I'm about to drop a video here in the next 20 minutes. Jamar Charlo and Canelo Alvarez have come to terms. They will be fighting May 5th, 2022.
Good,
Word.
something to look forward to because
What's going
I
on,
have
squad?
9 more
Going on,
months
what's going
to
on?
see Joe Judge play again.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be back, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, no, I'm
your
with
lips
y'all
to
there,
God's
man.
ears. Your lips to God's ears.
Look, at this
Yo,
point,
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not hoping
I feel
for
like we need to
anybody to
move
lose
on.
their job and not make money. You know, don't get me wrong.
I'm not worried. He's
But-
got millions
yeah,
of dollars. We're not talking
but-
about somebody that's hard up here.
I
We're
know,
talking-
but I don't want to
He'll get a-
sound
he'll
like
get a-
but I don't want
he'll
to
get a
sound
job
like a cold
anyway.
dick neither. You know what I mean?
He ain't gonna
Because
be
it's
unemployed.
never
He'll get
cool
a-
for anybody to lose their income. But at the same time, I made a video the other day in right before my mock draft. I said, you know, I like Joe Judge. I wish he'd have got set up for success the right way and everything. But at this point, if he gets fired, am I going to boo-hoo about it and make all types of angry videos? No. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying?
I'm there with you, 100%. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now. It's like I ain't gonna bitch or complain if he gets fired, but I mean, you ain't gonna hear me complain.
Because
if
at
he
the
gets
end of the
paid
day,
either.
what have you done to proven that you're a
Yeah.
winning program?
exactly.
I'm
That's
just
all.
not
That's
gonna
all
do-
I'm trying to.
I
that's all I'm trying to
love the
convey.
fact. I love the fact that they're still fighting and they're still playing for him and they're not throwing him under the bus and all that, which shows that he's changed the culture. It does, but that's not enough if you're not producing.
Yes,
And we are not producing. In fact, we're producing less.
Yes, Lou. I understand that they're not throwing him under the bus, but this is the NFL. Let's be real. They're going to play regardless because everybody's watching. If you're a free agent on this team and you're not playing hard, unless your name's O'Shane Zimenez, then you're going to be on a different squad.
No,
Jalen
but we've
Smith.
seen historically where teams have just quit on their damn coach. You know, we've seen it historically throughout as fans throughout the league. We've seen teams that was just like, man, fuck this shit, and go out there and lay an egg.
Right.
You know, this team
this
is
team-
not doing that. They're trying. They just suck.
Yes, but
Yeah, but
I blame the head coach because when you
Of
are out
course.
there
You
and
have
you ran,
to. He's the captain of the ship.
but the thing is, like, your offensive coordinator goes out there and says, "Yeah, how about you run 3 plays inside of 2-yard line of quarterback sneaks?" And you're the head coach, and you go, "Yeah, Freddie, that's a great idea. Great idea, Freddie."
No, yeah, you have to sign. You have to give the green light. So you have to take the blame because you're the head coach.
It's like I was saying earlier, man. At the end of the
Maybe his
day,
headset doesn't work.
what are you seeing from a guy in practice like Jacob Fromm that says, "I'm going to go out there with that guy"? It's just you just got to do better. You got to figure out other teams. Figure it out.
I
man.
get it. I get it. It's 100%. Look, okay. I'm the commander of this platoon, right? And I send 5 guys to go flank this fucking bunker, and I send 5 guys to assault it from the front, right? Now I make a bad call, and all 10 of those guys get fucking blown up and die. That's on me, regardless of whether they fucked up or they didn't do it right or they tripped the landmine or whatever. I gave the order. It's on me. And that's the same position he's in as head coach. And that's what you guys have been saying the whole time. And I get it. But
right, and it's not, and Lou, it's not like it's like we're being met here with this stance like Joe Judge's Bill Belichick here, and that he needs to be brought back because of some stupid culture thing that he's cleaned up. Okay, great job. Get rid of a few bad apples, and that's it. But don't act like this guy has done anything to warrant being brought back.
No,
this is a results-oriented business.
He has the same fucking record as Shermer.
And I gotta say this much: this team, in my honest opinion, we did fight under Shermer. Maybe not as hard, but this team still fought. And we didn't have a left tackle, so the offensive line was even worse. But
they scored more points. Hit squad. They scored more points.
In that last game against Washington under Shermer.
Pat Shermer knew how to use Daniel Jones. Right. Pat Shermer knew how to use Daniel Jones because he drafted him for a specific scheme. And
he knows how to use all his offensive players.
Yeah, because he's an offensive coordinator and has been.
We got a guy who's CEO, right? That's what we wanted. A guy not staring at a play sheet while his defense is on the field. And this guy, he doesn't even look at the defense because he knows Patrick Graham has got that in the bag. Yet the offense, where he's like, well, I'm going to be helping out as well. Well, great offensive mind there, Joe. You're sitting here. This is the game plan you come up with every week. My 1-year-old, my 3-month-old craps bigger game plans than this.
Yo, Slay, man.
We don't even look like a high school football team. I'm sorry.
We've been
high school. You mean Pop Warner?
We've been all answering this question about getting rid of Judge, man. Look, if like I said, I've been down the middle on it, man. If you can bring somebody else in better, legitimately better, then sure. You know what I mean? If you're going to just bring another Joe Judge, then we might as well keep the Joe Judge we already got. But at the same time,
and that's what
fire Joe Judge and keep Patrick Graham. Fire Joe Judge.
Now I said that earlier. I said, now what would you guys think if the New York Giants, who's been known to do boneheaded moves and keep everything in house, if they fired Joe Judge and promoted Patrick Graham to head coach? What would you guys' opinions be? And everybody was like, no, they're not going to do that. And
I would do that. Why not? He's already assistant head coach, right? He's already.
I really don't think they would do that is because I feel like they would just think it would just be basically the same. You just going from the same. You just going to the same guy almost in a sense. He's just going to have that same philosophy. I would think that's why they would avoid doing that. But at the same time, I don't know, man. I'm so on the fence with this, man, because I'm just seeing absolute failure in Joe Judge as a head coach. I'm seeing nothing but failure.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this much. He had came out and said, if we were to lay an egg, the fans have a right to boo him out the stadium.
He did.
He probably got what he wanted, man.
Oh, I'm sure he did because it was cold as shit and people up there freezing their ass off watching that crappy ass product.
Bro, the game, the tickets were starting at $6. At $6, man. Not even a Subway sandwich costs that much nowadays.
It costs more for a burger at MetLife Stadium than that ticket. It costs you more to buy a burger up in that.
But now to answer your question, G Nation, I wouldn't mind it. You know, I think that Patrick Graham, man. If I'm Graham, I gotta be disgusted, man. I mean, my unit that I focus on and that I put a real game plan to week in and week out shows up, and the offense ain't doing me no damn favors, man. I would be really upset, but I would understand if Patrick Graham were to get another job somewhere else, because I think that he's been easily the bright spot to this whole coaching staff, man. Now, can I ask y'all a question real quick?
I'm gonna address AK real quick, the real fast squad. See, Lovey Smith, from what I read earlier, I read something about Lovey Smith's not interested really in jumping back into the coaching thing right now, man. So I'm pretty sure he's off the table.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in this mess.
I wouldn't be shocked, man.
Shit, I mean, what if he's in the running for general manager?
Man.
Who?
That's where I'm curious at is what we're gonna do there, man.
Who are the general managers that you guys have in mind that you would like to see become the GM here? Just curious.
Scapioli.
I like Ed Dodds, but I don't see him coming here.
Did you just say ravioli?
No, I said
Scapioli.
Scapioli.
Oh, I'm driving, so you went in and out. I'm not trying to be funny.
Although Ravioli might run this team better.
Shit.
I'm calling up
I
Chef
was like-
Boyardee, see if he can come here and
I
run
was
this
like,
team.
did this motherfucker say ravioli?
I would want Ed Dodds.
Chef
but
Boyardee
I
for
don't know if he'll
GM.
come.
Chef Boyardee.
Yeah.
Oh, he must be a defensive-minded man.
He'll put everything in a
Because
can.
boy, RD.
Man, I mean, because
Oh,
this is
man.
where I'm at, right? It's like you can make the argument, oh, let him go get 2 offensive linemen or perennial edge rusher. Let him go get his pieces. But then what are we doing if he does that and we start off 0-2 again? I mean, that's where I'm at too. Like, I mean, I'm at a point where obviously week in and week out, I expect us to win. I'm biased, man. I'm a Giants fan, but I can't really say that I see us winning our first game next year. You know, I mean, I don't have anything to be hopeful for at the moment, and it sucks.
I was gonna say you
man.
can't be expecting us to win here lately because I've been expecting loss after loss after loss here lately.
Man, I threw my whole jersey on today, not even expecting a touchdown, and I saw one, man.
The thing is, players are now saying they love Joe Judge, and I'm like,
Yeah.
he's got things going on here. He's really poisoned the Kool-Aid with these guys, man. All that Kool-Aid they've been drinking now, they don't know
Jim
what winning
Jones.
is anymore.
Nah, not Jim
It's
Jones.
Jim Jones. God dang, he say they're poison the Kool-Aid. Son
That's
of a
funny
bitch.
as hell, man. Jim Jones. Oh man, nah, man. I mean, I'm there with you, Adam. I mean, because I know Lorenzo Carter came out at the end of the game and said he loves what Joe Judge is building here, and it's like, okay, do you really feel that way, or do you just try to get a contract?
Hit squad.
Right.
Can I interject on that really quick? Lorenzo Carter is just blessed because Joe Judge is the only head coach that would accept him on the football team and be a starter that he can be a starter for. That's why Lorenzo Carter is okay with that.
Yeah.
He wants Joe Judge to be here because then he can continue to start and steal money. That's how I feel about
I mean, you're
Lorenzo
not
Carter.
lying. You're not lying. I personally, I've came out and said that if Lorenzo Carter doesn't resign, look out for the Bears, man. I see the Bears picking him up because I think he would fit perfectly with what the Bears are doing over there.
I said in the offseason that I didn't think Lorenzo Carter and O'Shane Zimenez should make this roster. I thought
They
that
should.
Afadio Denebo and what was the other guy who we got rid of?
Marcus
Ryan
Golden?
Anderson.
The linebacker. Yeah.
Ryan Anderson.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought that them guys would have made the team and that O'Shane and Lorenzo Carter wouldn't be here, but I don't know how in the fuck we got rid of Afadio Denebo, Ryan Anderson, and it was another one too that we got rid of.
We got rid of Marcus Golden too for nothing.
What's going on,
And
Ash?
he balled out in Arizona.
Oh, Marcus Golden.
Yeah.
Marcus Golden.
You mind if I interject real quick? Lou, you think you could get me a burger? Large fries?
Get you a this
He's
motherfucker here.
a Wendy's guy.
Nah, that's Dario's.
Oh,
I ain't never
whatever
heard
that
that,
is.
but
I ain't never
that
heard of
looks
that
good as
either.
hell.
That's that North Carolina stuff.
It's some southern shit, but they make a good ass chili burger.
Yeah, is that where you're going right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell your stomach and your insides good luck because they're going to come out the other side.
That's all right. I haven't eaten shit all day. I'm hungry.
Yeah,
Stomach
well,
gotta be,
you know.
your stomach gotta be bubbling like a pot in the trap house, my G.
Because I'm eating a burger with hamburger chili on it.
I mean, I'm just saying,
know.
bro.
I mean, I don't know. I ain't never had that before.
That sounds
I don't
good
eat-
though. I can't hold you. My fat ass would eat it.
But y'all don't eat Scrabble either, so you know.
Listen, it sounds
I don't
delicious.
I don't eat none of that, sir.
Yeah, man. I'm just coming.
No
back to
swine
life.
on my mind, no pork on my fork, sir.
I like that. I like that. No swine on my
Well, you
mind,
can
no
always give
pork
me
on
the
my
bacon because
fork.
I'll eat that shit. That shit's
You're,
delicious.
you're damn
I'm
right.
there with you, Adam.
I'm sorry. I don't know how you living without eating bacon, bro. I can't even. That's not to me.
Listen,
That's not
whatever.
I grew
people,
up on that shit. I grew up on bacon and sausage and all that.
Oh
listen, you
my
gotta eat
God.
every day, but damn, you put some bacon on my burger. Woo!
Whew.
I mean, I was
Bacon is
vegan for
bacon
7
is usually the
years.
solution, bro. When something feel like it's missing, just throw a little bacon on that thing,
My man
man.
had a bacon bar at his wedding. We had asparagus wrapped bacon. Let me tell you, man, you didn't have bacon until you put a
Everything.
vegetable into it.
Word, bro.
Makes your pea stink, but tastes very good.
That bacon wrapped asparagus
see-
do be hitting, bro. That shit do be hitting.
Ash is talking facts. Turkey bacon is fine. Chicken bacon is fine. I'm there with you, bro.
Hell, I'll get a
Nah.
candle, burn that shit with a bacon.
Beef bacon is the best fucking bacon, bro.
I didn't even
Nah,
know they
I don't
made
give a damn what kind
regular,
of bacon it is.
regular
You give me
bacon is the best. Regular bacon is the best. Beef
True,
bacon
man.
is
I mean,
decent.
listen,
It's
if
good.
I die
love beef
early,
bacon, bro.
well, I'm going out with that bacon, man. You might as well just bury it with me.
This what the Giants got us doing. We're talking about bacon right now, bro.
That's
We
it. The
talking
Giants are
about-
so bad. We're talking about bacon.
I mean, it's more.
Listen.
What I would like to bacon is Joe Judge's fucking face right now because that idiot is. Oh, they're like, well, you know, I fixed the filing cabinet, and no one wants to go golfing now. I'm sure they're not. They're all got their plans and they've got their golf clubs out now. Joe Judge, yeah, Lorenzo Carter wants to come back. Yeah, come back because ain't nobody gonna want your broke ass
Yeah,
next year.
exactly.
No one wants your broke ass. Yeah, I'll come back. What have you done? I'm Lorenzo Carter. I've done nothing.
I can't believe that we ran a quarterback draw on a 3rd and 9 on our own 4-yard line.
Because Joe Judge is the smartest guy in the room.
Shit I've ever seen. I thought we were about to knee it. I swear to God, I thought we were going to kneel the ball and just punt it. I swear to God, I thought we were going to kneel the ball.
This guy wants to win, and that's the play you come up with. Hey, Freddie, great job. Sounds good. 3rd and 9. Don't make a pass. Sounds good. Idiot.
Well, if you like talking about bacon, go ahead and subscribe to G Nation Inside Sports, where we talk about how bad it is for your heart and your arteries.
How much are those cabinets there, Ash? I'll give them to you for free. I will give you the cabinets for free because that's what I've worked on. And just so
like
people
these
know,
are much better for your heart, right?
And just so people know, I filled out P for progress and put 4 and 13, and C for culture. So you'll get 2 filing cabinets already. You'll get a filing cabinet with two files, P and C, already in there. And when you open those 2 up, you're going to get 4 and 13 in the P section for progress, and you're going to get a big C for culture in the other folder. I hope you enjoy those filing cabinets, and just for that, I'll also include a free soda.
You said you're going to get a big C for what?
Culture.
Oh, my mind went to the gutters. They giving out free cunts? I'm like, what? Big cunts? What?
I don't know what they're doing at Dario's, but I know that Adam is giving out free filing cabinets with the file C and the file P. P for progress, 4 and 13 will be filed under that. And the other thing that will be filed under P will be 6 is less than 4 in the Giants' mathematical world.
Oh, I'm sorry, Adam. I got to get back to you. Here's another file. It's called F for field goals.
Oh, an F file. I'll include that too. For fuck,
what is
Joe Judge?
F for field goals.
Graham Gano is the leading scorer in our team.
That's terrible. That's
Of
terrible.
course he is. Oh,
That's
he's
terrible.
field goals.
He should be paid like the QB on this team, man.
What if he holds out for a big contract?
What if he holds out for a better team?
He was our MVP this year, straight up.
What if he holds out for a better team? I would be like, listen, I don't know if I want to play here anymore. All I do is kick field goals.
Shit, man.
For a loser. And then we pat ourselves on the back. We pat ourselves on the back. We're like, hey, you know what? We scored a touchdown in garbage time. We threw a wide open touchdown to Darius Slayton, and it must be great.
Who gets up and bows like he's been doing this all season. Fuck
yeah, the first catch he makes in fucking 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Way to show up, Darius Slayton.
I
found you on that milk box.
Touchdown. I think that was his first touchdown since his week 2 Washington performance, man.
Did he have a touchdown in that game? He didn't have a touchdown in that game, did he?
Yeah, he did. And then he dropped the wide open one.
Well, I know he dropped that. I definitely remember that play. And
How
everybody
come, the
was
Jets, how come the Jets can hold up against the Buffalo Bills?
Darius Slayton is Preston Parker 2.0.
Don't do that to Preston Parker. I mean, that guy was at least putting tiki torches up. He was doing something. Darius Slayton can't even put up tiki torches. Okay.
Preston Parker dropped 5 passes in one game.
That's bad.
People
You
are
remember that shit? I
Who's
think I
defending
broke my
QB?
television that day.
Preston Parker.
That's
I
bad.
forgot all about
Oh,
Preston
wait.
Parker's ass. Everybody
That
thought-
motherfucker, I broke my television because of that dude.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, in that game, he dropped 5 passes. I broke my fucking TV.
Well, I hope you had insurance.
No, I didn't have insurance. I needed a new one anyway. But that shit just pissed me off.
Well, too bad.
This is why I don't. This is why I can't call the Giants games.
I give y'all a lot.
My
of
channel
credit.
will be demonetized. I'll be canceled. I'll be everything. I probably have charges on me if I stream the Giants game.
I give y'all a lot of credit for being able to do the streams during the games, man, because I'd be getting pissed. I'd be screaming. I'd be cursing. I'm right there with you, Lou. I wouldn't get monetized if I streamed.
No, that's why I don't call Giants games. I can watch any other game and call it. It's fine. It don't affect me. I have a
Can't call the
personal,
games.
emotional attachment to the Giants, and I'll be dropping F-bombs and threatening coaches and shit, and I'll get canceled quick.
Yep.
I can't control
Yeah.
myself while I'm watching the Giants either, so I just don't even
Yeah,
attempt to
with
try to call the games.
That's
When
why
I be
in
on
the
your
chat.
streams, when I jump on the streams with y'all, when y'all call, I'll be like, I'll be holding back as much. It'd be hard. It's hard to restrain myself, man.
Goddamn, this fat bitch in front of me done ordered about 7 goddamn combos. Can you move
Hey,
already?
Hey, the lady needs to eat. She just saw the Giants lose and she's depressed.
Fuck.
Lou, are
I'm
you
hungry too,
hotboxing?
fat bitch.
Lou, are you hotboxing the cigarette?
Okay.
Are you hotboxing with the cigarette right now, Lou? You disgusting animal. If you
No,
don't
it's his
crack
windows
the
open now because he's ordering.
Okay, I was about to say.
See.
I'm like, I thought you
He's
was hotboxing
adding
with the
extra
cigarette.
flavor to his sandwiches.
The Ruben Randall thing with me, that dude with me was
Fuck Ruben Randall.
he just didn't try. His effort was never there. You know what I mean?
Ruben Randall
Like,
was dumb as a box of rocks, man. Helmet to helmet. That should be a 15-yarder.
Randall was. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the woo hit.
I was gonna say he had games where he looked like an absolute star receiver at times, and then
Yeah, his effort was terrible.
it was just other games. It was like, is this dude even on the field?
Ruben Randall, he running the wrong route and shit, being lazy.
Yeah.
He made
Look,
Eli Manning look so boneheaded sometimes. You're like, dude, are you even running the right routes?
I was just about to say that, AC, because like I think you can make a very good argument that a lot of Eli Manning's interceptions towards the later half of his career, that's Ruben Randall.
Oh yeah,
Without a doubt, that's
Ruben
Ruben
Randall
Randall.
was a joke, man.
There was one season where he threw 20 interceptions and 4 of them were off of like Akeem Nick's hands.
It's sad.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, oh, well, he's throwing 20 interceptions. I'm like, you need to look at the plays to make sure you understand what an interception is. You throw it right to a guy, that's a pick. You throw it in the guy's hands, he tips it up in the air, and the other team catches it. That's not on the quarterback. I mean, it's under it's like an error in baseball, right? It's not necessarily awarded to the pitcher, but, the pitcher doesn't necessarily make the error, but they put it on his record.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100% with that one year when everybody was so hard on Eli about those interceptions. I was like, so many of them weren't even remotely his fault, man.
I mean, people forget that Drew Brees threw 20 interceptions in the season. But he's Drew Brees.
Like I said, people, when they talk about interceptions, they forget that Brett Favre is the all-time career leader in interceptions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
no doubt about it.
It's okay.
I mean,
that's okay.
His last pass was an interception to a Saints player.
Which is crazy.
Lou's discussing about that lady's order. He's like,
his original last pass was an interception to Corey Webster.
Exactly. His first one was to Corey Webster down the sideline. But that's the thing, is like Brett Favre is Brett Favre. That's Brett Favre being Brett Favre,
Yep.
You asked me if I was hotboxing a cigarette?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like I had the windows rolled up?
No, like the windows were up and you was just smoking inside with the cigarette instead of in a joint.
Nah, hell no. I'm not gonna breathe in the secondhand smoke too. Bad enough I'm already smoking.
That's why I was like, I hope that window cracked. And then Adam confirmed it was indeed cracked. So you good.
Yeah. I only did that with the other tobacco,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But
fucking flambe.
It's really sad, man, how this team plays. I gotta say it, man. It is. It's embarrassing, and it's like you got other teams in the league that are worse than us, and we really can't even talk shit. I'm gonna talk my shit, but you really can't even talk shit.
Well,
That's
now
why
we have to wait 9 months to bring this bum back to hopefully have him win game 1.
I don't think he's coming back though, Adam. I really don't. I think he was coming back, and I think when he came out and said, we're not a clown show, you don't see our guys punching each other on the sideline and all that. I think he fucked himself with that comment because Mara is a guy who doesn't like confrontation. He's a very timid guy. And he doesn't like all the backlash and all the media coming and asking him questions when he's walking into the building about what his coach is saying and stuff like that. He doesn't like that type of shit. He's a very timid guy.
Well, Steve Tisch is hopefully the guy that's banging on the table to get rid of him.
Yeah, I think they're gonna blow it all up. I think the fan base booing him and booing Evan Engram and cheering when he left the field and all that. I think all the statements that have been made from the fan base on social media, in the stadium, and everywhere else has been heard. And I think Mara's going to blow it all up. Maybe not even Mara. I think Tisch is going to step in and be like, you know what? We've done it your way. Fuck this. We're doing it my way.
Right. And the right way is just to bring in a coach and a GM at the same time.
I mean, pretty much because you gotta bring guys in there that are on the same page. Once you got that little disconnect where one guy has one philosophy, another guy's another, it's always going to get confusing. It's always going to just be like what we're dealing with right now.
Man, I swear, their food is fucking good, but they always take forever in this fucking drive-thru. Sorry.
No, you good, man. I feel that frustration, man. I really do.
Okay. They fuck you in the drive-thru, okay?
They know that you'll be driving away, look at your food, and not want to go back.
Oh man, that's funny.
What a reference!
But you know something? It's like it's not that there's definitely candidates out there if you were to go and try to look for another head coach that are proven. I mean, I'm not going to say go hire Vic Fangio as your head coach because he just got fired.
Mike Zimmer.
You know what I don't understand? Sorry, Hit Squad.
You good, man.
Don't we have more coaches on our staff than any other fucking team?
Yeah, and we can't field a team that scores anything.
They're supposed to be all great teachers too.
27 freaking coaches for 53 players, and not one of them can run the right direction on offense.
I said that I didn't think it was smart to necessarily have that many coaches, and the reason being
too many Chiefs and not enough Indians.
Exactly. And how many? If you were to ask every single coach the same question, you're gonna get 53 different answers. I that's just how I feel. I mean, how many of those coaches are on the same page, really on the same page with the same philosophies? So I definitely
you have Pat Flaherty, the offensive line guru, and our offensive line still is a butt crack.
Well, that's because our offensive linemen are butt crack.
But I'm just saying,
you can thank Dave Gettleman for his no analytics approach of drafting guys because he was such a great GM at Carolina. Fuck out of here.
Oh, don't get me started. I'm driving to MetLife Stadium. I'm going to escort that guy to Cape Cod myself.
Do y'all see the Giants parted ways with Rob Sale? Because I know that when Rob Sale came here, at least from what I saw, the expectation was, okay, this is a guy Joe Judge has ties with. He's known for building offensive lines. He establishes the run game. The offensive line has looked pretty bad.
His squad. Did
you say
where you located at? His squad.
I'm located in Florida.
Oh, you in Florida?
How the heck did Joe Judge get all these coaches? He fired Colombo. He fired DiGuillermo. He's fired Jason Garrett. Okay, he's fired all offensive coaches, and nothing's changed. It's gotten worse.
Yeah. Absolutely worse. I mean, people can say what they want about Jason Garrett. This offense, and it picked about the personnel, making all those excuses up all you want to. So this offense is far worse under Freddie Kitchens than it was under Jason Garrett. Far worse.
And what is Freddie Kitchens doing on 4th and 1? You're running a reverse when you're getting 5 yards a clip. That's the play that Joe Judge goes in. Hey, Freddie, well, what do you got called? What do you got called, Freddie? I'm going to call reverse, Joe. Oh, that sounds great. Let's do it.
It's not even just it's running the same motion, everything like the identical as you did the last time, where you had to draw them off sides. You're running like the exact same shit. Where like think they're not ready for it this time. Come on, man. That's the shit I'm talking about.
Hey, guys.
Well, that's the same shit they did in the game where Daniel Jones got hurt, where he got that fucking concussion. They ran the fucking play. They called timeout or there was a penalty or something, and they ran the same fucking play again, and we didn't get the fucking touchdown. And then the third time, they ran Daniel Jones out to the left side, and Kyle Rudolph whiffed on the block, and he got his head tore off.
Well, that's because Daniel Jones doesn't have a slide, but
no, but that's because they called the same fucking play twice. They saw the same play. You didn't switch up. There was a timeout. There was time for you to come out with a whole nother game plan for the fucking 1 yard. And y'all said, no, well, fuck it. We'll just do the same exact play. And then lost 3 yards the second time. And that's when Daniel Jones ran it and got his head crushed.
So the play gets called from Freddie Kitchens into Jake Fromm, and there's no veto by the coach. You think Bill Walsh would have done that?
Nope. Sure wouldn't have.
Hell no. He'd have been like, what? No, we're not doing the same. They just fucking saw it.
No.
That's the same way we beat Dallas in the NFC Championship game. I mean, in the divisional playoff game, because they ran a route, and R.W. McCorder said, I saw that route. They crisscrossed. And then if they do it again, my rules tell me to stay inside, R.W., stay inside. And he said, and they ran it again, and sure enough, he stood inside, and he picked the damn ball off. And that's how we won the game.
49ers against the Cowboys. They ran that Dwight Clark touchdown play. They ran that same play. And the only reason it went to Dwight Clark is because the guy slipped. But they ran that same play, and it caught Dallas off guard.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like, I know the 2022 schedule came out, and I can't even be excited about that, even though it looks favorable.
Well, you better get excited because we're bringing in a whole new staff, and we got 10 fucking picks. Woohoo!
I said in my video I just dropped that, the offseason really starts, right now, for us, and we're going to be busy this offseason, man. I mean,
offseason started for us in week 9.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that, man. But that's the only thing I'm looking forward to at the moment is that we're going to have
the offseason started in week 1 when we lost to the Denver Broncos.
Shit, let's say week 2 after Atlanta. Week 3 after Atlanta.
Especially considering how people thought we were going to just run through the Broncos week 1. I think that should have been our first signal right there for real. First sign that how the season was going to go down.
Did they? I remember we were all in these streams and we went game by game, and I'm like, well, Denver's got a good defense. No, they don't. Blah, blah, blah. We're blah, 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 blah. 12 and 5. Oh, I'm sticking by it.
Well, hey, listen, I stuck by my 11-6 for as long as I could, but that shit.
Yeah, but we understood you was messing around. These people were like, yeah, 12 and 5. Joe Judge got this. I'm sticking with it. We're gonna be there. I'm telling you, we're gonna. But we went. 6
I wasn't messing around. I was trying to speak that shit into existence.
Well, yeah, I didn't take it seriously. I'm like, this guy must be on crack.
No, I was trying to will it to existence. I was trying to speak that shit into the ether and make it a reality. But
yeah, well, someone tried to speak 12 and 5 into the ether, and that shit is just, was crushed, just like this punter in this Rams game. Boom, crushed.
I felt like dude on Half Baked. Who's coming with me, man?
That's a fully.
I respect this.
Thank you, Jen.
Lou had leaving, man. He created that 11-6. Back on my bullshit.
Hey, listen, 4 and 13. Back on my bullshit.
I was there though.
No. We're back on our bullshit because we all cheer for this team. So we're back on our bullshit. Right.
Hey, they got a guy wearing a bag saying "fire everyone." I mean, on his head in the stadium.
with a Pepsi attached to it, an empty Pepsi bottle.
Yeah, with a Pepsi on the side. Yeah, they wanted that free medium soda with that firing.
That's crazy.
Friggin'
Man.
bum. Oh, let's bring it back. He has filing cabinets. He put in order.
I think
He put some filing cabinets in order, guys.
One of my favorite things from that game was when they showed a fan calling Joe Judge a bitch. Like twice.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, I loved it.
Say
I
what?
loved it.
I
They
ain't seen
showed
that.
like on TV, yeah, they showed like a fan and you could read his lips screaming, Joe Judge, you're a bitch. You are a bitch. And then they cut
This is the
through
same
it.
guy they're gonna bring back, and it's gonna be 4th and 1. He's gonna be like, you know what? Let me run a reverse.
Now you know what? Hey, if Joe Judge would have thrown his clipboard down and ran at that dude and choked him, I'd have said bring him back.
Exactly.
I'd have said bring him back. No, the fact that you let another grown man call you a bitch on national television and you did nothing about it, you're not the coach for this team.
Well,
Yeah,
the thing is
it
that he said, Tyler Higbee is 2 touchdowns. This guy is balling. Look at that coach. That coach is in the end zone dancing with him. Sean McVay's high five, and what does our coach do? He's looking for his pen in his hat to write stuff down because his filing cabinets, they're all black. Have been installed.
fucking silent cabinets, man.
John Mara's happy that his filing cabinets are now in alphabetical order. Thanks, Joe Judge.
Hey,
Don't let the
John
door
Mayer
hit
is
you on the way
probably
out.
flipping over a chair right now. He's probably flipping over a chair like he usually does.
One of the ones that Joe Judge purchased for him.
God. You know, and then they cut to a scene where Dave Gettleman is trying to send what looks like a text message on his phone. Dude probably updating his resume right
Yeah, he's
now.
probably getting his lunch
Yeah,
reservation ready.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
He's like, yeah, is my lobster ready?
He looked so uninvested in the game. It was like, okay.
Oh no, he knew he was gone. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get my retirement soda, and they're gonna let me go off on my own.
You know
He's gonna
what?
give Pepsi in one hand and a booty ass Rolex, fake ass Rolex in the other.
I'll tell you what he was doing. He was trying to cash in on his last meal at MetLife for free under the employee discount.
That's what he probably was trying to do, get his 10-cent soda.
By the way, over the Patriots right now.
He was probably a DraftKings. He probably knew his team was gonna lose, so he was getting a couple DraftKings bets in.
Well, guys, you know I support the stream whenever I can. Whenever I'm not working or whenever you guys do it during when I'm not working. But right now I'm starving and I'm about to eat this motherfucking food. I'll hop back on it a bit.
Those Africans
I
are starving.
don't know how much longer I'm gonna go anyway, man. Usually these don't even go. These usually only be like about 20 minutes or so. A quick little rant from me after the game. This is my season finale, so I figured light some guys on, man. Let's just, talk about it.
Let's have a sane conversation about why we can fire Joe Judge instead of having a friggin' pay-per-view on the other one.
Well, look out for my boxing video. I'm about to upload it after I eat.
Well, you enjoy that delicious chili burger and fries.
It's called the Epic Burger. It's 3 patties.
3 patties.
With chili, grilled onions, ketchup, mayo, mustard. It's banging. Shit oozing down the side.
Hope you bought a lot of toilet paper.
Yeah.
Well, the grilled onions and the bread absorb most of the sauce, so we're good.
Yeah.
All right, fellas.
About to be Hiroshima.
All right, bro. Enjoy it, man.
But to answer your question, Ash, it wasn't someone on TV. It was they showed a fan in the stands. Like when they cut to the scene, and it was a fan calling Joe Judge a bitch. Like you could read it clearly.
I hope he called him that. I hope he called him that same word when he was walking out to in the locker room.
I mean, they had that video earlier today with the fan yelling at John Mara as he's walking past him that he needs to hire football guys and not family. So hopefully I doubt it, but hopefully that said something to him.
I mean, we just need to hire guys. Like I said, I want a fresh start completely. Like we need guys that have no association with no past association with New York Giants. Guys are just going to come in here and don't feel any kind of sense of loyalty to the organization and a way to not like to do things the New York Giant way. I want guys to come in here and clean this shit up. Man.
Well, Joe Judge wants Kevin Abrams. Yeah, you know why? Because he won't fire his ass. That's why he wants Kevin Abrams. Joe Judge, how about you keep your mouth shut, you dumbass? You'll win us a football game or two. No, you're going to go yell at Cam Brown when he makes a mistake, when your punter shanks it. You yell at Cam Brown.
It's sad. It's really sad, man. Like I ain't got no words. Like I really don't.
It's
I wish I could come up and say some shit, but I really don't.
I got words. F Joe Judge. That's what I got.
Oh yeah, we about the same. So yeah.
I mean, I just feel like he's a failure, and I feel like it's like you said a couple weeks ago on the other podcast, Adam. If you're not good at your job, you get fired. You don't like just get
It's
to keep
true.
your job for being mediocre or less than mediocre. I feel like he's even less than mediocre. He's just not. He's clearly not the guy. He's not the answer, man. Because this team is not responding to whatever it is he's saying, and they might not totally quit, but at the same time, they're not. This is not good enough. It's not a good enough product on the field, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Matt. And the more I listen, because I'm the kind of person that I do want to see things out, but this is it's a business, and at the end of the day, it's like the only thing that I see that's better in terms of Joe Judge comparing it to Shermer is that the defense is playing better. That's to me really it. I don't think that we're fundamentally sound that Joe Judge had promised. Our special teams has moments where it looks really good, has moments where we make boneheaded decisions. But our
Special teams
offense the
play well
last
today.
2 years has been bad. Not just this year. I really do think that the defense, really masked a lot of deficiencies that we had last year. Our offense has been horrible the past 2 seasons. And right now, I'm sorry, I love this team to death, but you cannot convince me that this team could go head to head with the Texans or the Lions, who are record wise worse than we are. But
This
are they
team,
really worse than we are?
no, I went through
Right.
that earlier too. This team can't beat anybody in the league right now. There's no other team in the league right now that this New York Giant team can beat because, like you just said, the Texans, the Lions, the Jaguars, the Jets. You know what those teams all do that the New York Giants don't do is they score points. They might not be good football teams, but they find ways to score points. And this New York Giant team can't seem to do that. Therefore, there's no way it could beat any of those teams either. Even though the record says we're better than them, we're not better
Yeah, we're
than
not
them.
beating the Lions. We're not beating the Lions. We're not beating
I don't
anybody.
see it.
And I don't even care if we had Daniel Jones either. Everyone thinks Daniel Jones is going to be this great savior. We were a losing team with the kid, or we're a losing team without the kid. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, Daniel.
Yeah, we're just losing worse without him. That's all. I mean, that's the only real difference. We're losing even worse, but at the same time, we were losing with him too. So
Yo, Joe Judge was 10-22. Daniel Jones was 10-22, and they both are on different trajectories on their career.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And it's it may be for Daniel Jones's best interest. It's as well as Saquon, man. I mean, for them to have a fresh start. I mean, right now it's I can't. I think it would be more harm than good keeping Saquon, and I want Saquon here. Saquon's my favorite player on this team. I got 2 Saquon jerseys. He's my favorite player on this team. They may look to trade him. They may look to get whatever they can for him. Somebody will take him. Somebody will be able to use that talent. Same with Daniel Jones.
My friend said it best. He said to blow everything up, trade the assets that you got, right? Make a new coach, and then get as many draft picks and lay the foundation right now going forward, right? I mean, like, what do we need Daniel Jones for? He stinks. See you later. Saquon Barkley, love you, but you can go too.
And something, it's
I mean,
like
you can get legit.
I'm
You can
not
get
gonna.
legit pieces for Saquon Barkley.
Oh,
Still,
you
probably.
could. I think you could get a third. To be honest with you, I don't see a second happening just because of the injuries, but I think you could get a third. You look at a team like San Francisco or maybe a team like Baltimore who likes to run the ball. Buffalo, you might be able to get something a little bit more because they desperately need a running game. But I mean, I love Daniel Jones. I don't think he's a bum. I don't think he's horrible. I think there's a lot of things he has to work on, but I'm not putting all my eggs in the basket for Daniel Jones either because he
Hey,
hasn't
but his
given me a
squad.
reason to think that.
I liked Daniel Jones as well too, but when you're making the same mistakes 3 years in,
Oh yeah,
that you can't, like, when you drop back in on the passing game and you have no no empathy to stand up, no awareness to just step up a half an inch, and you're not getting the ball knocked out of your hands. That's it.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
they got
you're
Nate
right.
Solder,
You're
and
right.
Nate Solder played great with New England, and he didn't even play that great. He played with Tom Brady, who knew that when he dropped back, once Nate Solder was past him, he moved up and threw the football up. Daniel Jones drops further back than his tackles and walks right into the lap of the defensive end.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right, man. I mean, there's a lot of things the kid has to work on, and I just don't think that we have the coaching at the moment to really surround him with the right pieces, or at least coach him up to his potential. I think, honestly, man, I think if he were to go to a team like the Saints with Sean Payton, I think honestly he would get the most out of Daniel Jones. But he's a better coach. He's overall a better coach than Joe Judge ever will be.
You just said it, man, right there. I'm sorry, real quick. I just want to jump in. You just said it right there. The coaching, man. Like, that's what this kid needs a better situation than what we can provide for him here right now. Like, I'm not on the total he's a bum train either, completely bum. He clearly has some viable skills, you know what I mean, that can make him be successful in this league. But at the same time, it's just not going to happen here in New York. I think at this point in time, it's just not going to happen in New York. It's got to be, if he wants to add any like stability to his career, he's got to do it somewhere else. And I just feel like we need to move on from him. I don't know what we can really get for him at this point if we try to offer him out, dangle him out on a trade block. I don't know what people are offering, what we trying to give up for Daniel Jones. But at the same time, I feel like we need to. I think this kid has no real chance in New York, man. No real future or a chance.
I'm 100% there with you, man. I mean, and that's just where we're at. And I know we weren't talking about this, and I keep making this point, and I keep saying this, and I feel like a lot of people aren't taking this into initiative when it comes with the whole Russell Wilson thing. I understand they don't have an offensive line, and neither do we. But Dwayne Brown, who is their left tackle, has played horrible this year. Horrible. While Andrew Thomas has proven to be an upper half left tackle in this league. I mean, Andrew Thomas has allowed 2 sacks. Dwayne Brown has allowed 9. That's a big ass difference. And we should all know as Giants fans how life was before Andrew Thomas. Nobody could succeed behind this offensive line. So you telling me you can't go get a right tackle and an Evan Neal, and you got Andrew Thomas on the left side, Wilson can't go win you some games by himself? Come on, man.
That's
They don't got a left tackle over there in Seattle.
Listen,
what the hell do you expect them to do?
Look, this team, people, this is why I get mad about Joe Judge again, because he sat on these personnel decisions. He was one of the reasons why we have the team that we have. Him and Joe Judge, him and Dave Gettleman both said they believed in this offensive line. And that's why they didn't draft any of these guys, in the draft or pick them up, because they believed in them. So now, and everyone tells me on the other stream, well, Adam, don't you like all the players? What players? Hardly any of the draft picks of this year played, except for Azeez Ojulari, who I called was going to get 9 sacks, and Kadarius Toney. That's it. And I barely saw Kadarius Toney play. So don't tell me that we have a foundation of players when we barely – I'll go through it. Rodarius Williams, injured. Gary Brightwell, injured. Ellerson Smith, didn't do much. Okay? I know I'm missing other people. Azeez Ojulari, Aaron Robinson. What did Aaron Robinson do? Make a few tackles? I mean, come on. We sit here like, well, you're praising Joe Judge because he brought some guys in here. Who gives a damn?
But you know something? This is my thing too, right?
He also brought some bad guys in here.
Exactly.
With teams throughout the league, right? You can name the worst head coach out there, right? The fans are going to find players that the coach brings in through the draft that they like. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Under Matt Patricia, who gets bashed, right? He selected TJ Hawkinson. He's a baller over there for the Lions. They got Jeff Okudah. He's a baller for the Giants. That wasn't for the Lions. That's not a good enough reason for them to have kept Matt Patricia. He brought in talent, but he wasn't a good head coach.
Right.
That don't mean that you keep the head coach just because he's bringing in good talent. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care if my coach would have come in and bring in players that I had no idea who they were. But if he's winning, man, I'm gonna trust that coach. That's just me personally. But Matt, like I said, with Matt Patricia, TJ Hawkinson, Will Harris is all right. I mean, in their 2019 draft, for the 2020 draft for the Lions, they had a pretty solid draft. Guess what? Matt Patricia got fired. Why? Because he wasn't a good head coach. In that one draft alone, in 2020, they got Jeff Okuda, DeAndre Swift, Julian Okwara, who's balling out over there. They have a guard who's doing pretty well that they selected in the third round. Matt Patricia still got fired. So I don't care if there's players that I like that Joe Judge is bringing, that he signed in the draft, Xavier McKinney, Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas wasn't even a Joe Judge pick.
Right.
It was a Jason Garrett pick.
Right.
So it's like, I mean, and I'm there with y'all, man. I mean, the argument alone that they decided not to get an offensive lineman is insane.
Right. And the fact that sorry.
What is it? No,
so I'm just saying, like, the head coach is responsible for all the stuff you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Well, they are, though. Head coach is responsible for the team.
And it's like, well, why don't we have accountability for this guy? But we're worried about accountability for Dave Gettleman, and we want to bring this guy back because why? Because, there's no leaks from the draft. Oh, big. I don't care. Tell them who you're going to draft. Who the fuck cares? You know what I mean? How do we know that's not smoke screen anyways to get somebody else in the draft? So don't give me this like, oh, well, he's created leaks. People don't know leaks anymore. Give me a break. People are going to leak regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nah, I'm there with you, man. I mean, because let's be real, right? I'll give you guys another perfect example. Doug Marrone, he's with the Jacksonville Jaguars. If we're talking about players that the coach has signed that we like and why he should stay. Doug Marrone in the 2020 draft not only got Josh Allen, right? Which it is what it is. He got Josh Allen. Quincy Williams, who's doing solid over there in Jacksonville, he drafted as well. Raquel Armstead, Gardner Minshew. I mean, there's going to be players that the coach brings in that are good, that the fans like, but that shouldn't automatically grant you a golden ticket for you to stay next year. Because I can guarantee you, if we were to move on and grab another coach, there's going to be players that the fans like that the coach brings in through the draft. And what, are we going to make the same argument for that coach just because they brought in someone that we like? I don't know. That's just how I feel about it when it's talked about with that comment. Like
this is Conrad, like what you just said, what you were just talking about, the Jacksonville's picks and everything. And you just happened to say Gardner Minshew's name, and I'm only stuck on that because of the whole quarterback conversation I had earlier. It's like, okay, you bring Glennon in earlier, you signed earlier in the season, in the beginning of the year, all season we signed him, and then we bring in Fromm later on, whatever. But at one point earlier, once the Eagles Jacksonville let Gardner Minshew go, why not take a swing at a guy bring a guy like that?
They didn't let him go. They got traded for him.
They traded. Okay.
So my point is they gave up a 6th-round pick. We couldn't give up one of our 6th-round picks this year to get Gardner Minshew and actually have a legit chance of winning.
A much better backup quarterback. So
you're right. You're absolutely right.
It's personnel decisions like that. Where you're telling me there's nobody else left. Well, there were plenty of people out there, and we had opportunities to get them the same way other teams did. But we just, said we got Mike Lennon, we're good. What?
Yeah, and we said Mike Lennon was good, and that's the problem. They said it. They said it. Both Joe Judge and Gettleman said it to say, yeah, we got him. He's better than this. And even the announcers today said you should have gotten a backup quarterback that fit your offensive style.
I heard him say that, Adam. Absolutely. Said somebody that was more at a similar skill set to Daniel Jones at the very least.
Right. When you got Mike Glennon,
pisses me off. We rushed to sign Mike Glennon.
Right. He was the first one on day one.
I mean, that's what pissed me off this offseason is that we rushed to sign Mike Glennon. We rushed to sign Kyle Rudolph. I'll tell you what else we rushed to do. We rushed to kick Kevin Zeitler out because we didn't even offer him a secondary contract that we could have.
Yeah, we decided to keep Nate Solder instead.
And you know what? I know that there's a lot of people that want to, because I have seen it. I know when I say this, it's like I'm looking at Twitter, I'm looking on Facebook. Like there are people that want Abrams out for some strange reason, but people want Abrams. We didn't even have enough money going into this game to have a full roster. We had 51 players playing today. because we can't afford to bring someone else. Is it Kevin Abrams, the cap quote guru? Why the hell would I want him running my general manager position if we're in this position we are right now? We can't even afford to bring in no one.
The fact that I'm looking at
200,000 to our name right now.
The roster that we fielded today and the roster we've been fielding, how the hell can we can't afford those guys?
We can't even find futures deals.
You're right.
Like the guys that you bring up in the practice squad that you need a 90-man roster come February 2nd, we don't got nobody. Enough money. We're gonna roll over $200,000 and cut mad people? For what? For what?
We want to address the offensive line, but we'll go damn sign 7 corners to play fucking special teams. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
But to play special teams.
That's another thing.
The number one ranked special teams, man. We don't even have a top 15 special teams unit, man. So
that's another thing. That's another thing. Is that they made he tied the record. He tied the record. He didn't break it. All right, so Strahan and JJ Watt are both tied. That's good. I'll take that. Don't break it.
Yeah. That's all we got to hold on to.
My point is this: we're sitting here and we people want this guy back, and I'm like, you got to take everything with a grain of salt because he had his hand on every decision. These game plans that he's bringing out there, those are approved by him.
Yep.
Those plays are approved by him. He doesn't just the only thing I don't think he does is he lets Patrick Graham do whatever he wants on defense, but everything else is on Joe Judge. Especially when he said, I'm going to have my hand in the offense now.
I don't want him to have a hand in the offense. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't. I don't.
Yeah, I'll drop the link for you.
Trust that Joe Judge could get this shit in the right direction. Well, let me not say that. I got a little bit of trust that he can, but it's like 10%. If I'm being real with you, it really is because this team looks abysmal. This and I know that the score should have been a lot worse. The defense came and they played hard. But has it occurred to anyone that if you're really a competitor, you're competitive, you love what you do, you put a lot of work into your body, into your craft, you're not trying to, and you potentially may not be on this roster next year. Do you think it would be smart to put on tape that you're not showing effort, that you're giving up, that you're quitting? These players know that, man. I mean, for real, these players know that. They're not going to go out there and lay an egg, unlike the offense, and just that's it. Nah, that's not what's going to happen. They're going to play hard. They're going to play tough for their coach. I mean, shit, the Jacksonville Jaguars today beat up on the Colts, and they got the number 1 pick. They playing hard. They don't even have a head coach. They're playing hard for their coach. Teams play hard for their coaches. It's not uncommon. Even some of the worst teams. Look at the Texans. The Texans week in and week out have been fighting, man, and they're a bad team. I'm just saying, man. I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'm there with you, Miz.
But that's my.
Oh yeah, what you say?
I was gonna say, would you just piggyback on what you said? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can acknowledge the other teams are bad. Like I said, Texans, the Jets, the Jaguars, teams like that, the Lions, they're bad teams, but they look like they belong in the NFL. At least when they go out there and play, I don't see the shit show that I see when I watch the Giants play. I don't see the same thing. I see a bad football team.
Great point.
That's actually a really good point.
See a bad football teams, but I see it. They still look like they belong in the NFL. Like they.
If we had this record, but we're scoring 20 points, or we're scoring 23 points or whichever, I wouldn't be as upset. It's the simple fact that, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm gonna do my research real quick.
You made a great point, Mac.
The most that we've scored in like the last 3 weeks, outside of the Chargers game, is this the most that we scored? 7 points.
I think we've scored 10 in a different game.
10, my fault.
And we also scored 21 against the LA Chargers.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's like, bro, like teams
find. Well, Mac, you made a good point. How are the Jaguars? Sorry to cut you off, Hit Squad. How are the Jaguars playing hard with no coach?
Exactly. 100%. The Texans, they don't even have a quarterback, man. And they're scoring points. I'm sorry. Look, I know that, Davis Mills, the media is really trying to hype him. I know some Texans fans, they are not sold on Davis Mills. But you know what? He goes out there, he puts points on the board, he gets you some touchdowns. And granted, look, I know someone said it earlier. I don't think it was on this stream that a player like Glennon, he's been on this roster. All these other bad teams, they've been on the roster since week 1. Glennon's been here since week 1, and he looked atrocious. He looked atrocious outside of that Cowboys game, which Jason Garrett was our offensive coordinator.
Exactly.
So shit. Like I don't get it. I don't understand. And it's like, you made a great point, Matt. How do you, as a coach, look at Jake Fromm? You know that the kid can't throw. I'm not going to say he can't throw. He's in the league for a reason, but he doesn't have a strong arm. He's underthrowing guys, and you say, you know what? This is what I'm going to roll with. I know Brian Lewerke isn't good. I know he's ass, but Jesus Christ, man, give me something.
I'm sure he can hit a wide open running back in the flat with nobody around. I'm sure he can make that pass. Man, 90% of the time, you know what I mean?
You had fans asking to have Joe Judge put Kadarius Toney at quarterback because that's where we're at right now.
If Kadarius Toney was healthy, I would have much rather seen him be quarterback than Jake Fromm today. I'm just keeping that real.
To be real with you, I can't fault no one for it because Jake Fromm. Look, I said it when we signed him. I wasn't really sold on him. I'm not crazy about his arm. And we saw it today. Like, that dude was underthrowing people like crazy, man. And I get it. That one pass to Galladay should have definitely laid his body out there. He could have came down with it. Yeah. But he's still, bro, like even if Galladay didn't get interfered, man, he would have been underthrown. He had to get interfered just so that the ball barely misses his fingers. I don't know. I really don't know. It is frustrating.
That's my thing. Like I said, I'm curious what the hell Jake Fromm did. It's been like about a month or so when we signed him. What did he come in and show you that said we want to give this guy a contract? Because what I see out there is a guy that has a noodle arm. I know what he did in college. It was all good. He was good college quarterback, good on a good team. I get all of that. Good college accolades. This guy does not have an NFL arm. He does not have an NFL arm. That's clear and obvious. He cannot throw at the level you need a quarterback to throw at the National Football League. And that's just it doesn't matter what he did in college. He can't do it at this level. It's not meant to be. It's not the story that was written for his life to be an NFL quarterback because it's not good enough. But yet we still give this guy a contract. We still rolling out there on a Sunday, and we already seen what he did in the first performance, which this was much better, obviously. But how could it have been worse? And
exactly.
And then you see what he does today, and it's still it's terrible. But yet this is what we're rolling out there with. We're gonna make excuses for going out there with guys like this when I've seen look. Everybody's not going to be a Tom Brady, Kurt Warner story. Those are over the top, obviously. But you've seen other teams go out and get guys that can come in and give you something. And we continue to go out there and get guys that come in and give us nothing. And we want to be content with that. And then make excuses as to why we're so bad. Well, look, we're bad because the people making decisions are making very bad decisions. And the head coach is part of the decision-making process. So
facts.
It's true. It's true.
It just is what it is.
You can't, honestly, man, you can't look at anybody in this organization and say they are worthy of a promotion. They're not. They're not. I don't know about y'all, but like when I look at my bread and my bread got a little mold on it, I throw out the whole thing. I don't take out one slice and say, this one doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna eat. You throw the whole fucking thing out.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
You don't promote Kevin Abrams because he's been there for 20 years. Well, guess what? He's been there for 20 years. Why hasn't he been elevated? There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason that he hasn't given you the trust to say, I'm going to pull the finger on him. Pause. But I'm going to pull the finger on him. He's going to be the general manager. 20 years you have been a part of this. And in the last decade, we've been in embarrassment. Outside of, obviously, our Super Bowl win.
As we're coming out now that people are not happy about that quarterback sneak, Barkley and Fromm and things like that. I'm like, well, this is the guy you want to come back. This is the guy that everybody says is a genius because he's so smart. What is this? He's so smart. He knows how to use a key tag to get into the building. Great.
And you know what? To build off of that, I'm gonna read y'all a quote I was just reading as you mentioned this, Adam. This is actually per Zach Rosenblatt, and this is a quote from Joe Judge as to why they ran 2 quarterback sneaks. He says, "We ran the quarterback sneak to give us better field position to punt on the next play." This is from an actual beat reporter that Joe Judge said this. This isn't just some fan that typed this out to get clicks.
That's it. That's your
That's your
methodology.
reason?
That's your methodology. Like, I wanted to move it. I wanted to get a field position to punt. So you basically conceded the victory that you're going to lose. You're basically saying, well, we don't care about winning here.
But you know something? I'm not shocked because he did come out and say, people don't understand that you can also be aggressive when you're punting the ball. What the fuck does that even mean? What
if you had a good punter.
Mean? Like, we don't even have a good punter. Riley Dixon is kicking balls out there. That's how fucking bad he is. Again, and I'm sorry for my language. But I gotta read this again.
Probably one of his best games of the season.
Joe Judge said he ran those 2 QB sneaks deep in their own territory because he wanted to create space for when they punted it on 4th down.
So you basically wasted
a beat reporter.
You wasted a valuable drive to possibly get back in the game when you're down a score because you want to punt the football.
That's a fireable offense right there. I'm sorry.
That is a fireable offense for anybody.
Fireable offense.
Most people would get fired for that.
You should have just nailed the fucking ball. You should have just nailed it. Like I thought you was gonna nail it. Nail it, punt the ball. You wasn't gonna do anything anyways. What? I mean, did y'all not learn running quarterback sneaks with your quarterback may injure your quarterback? Because your damn quarterback is on the sideline right now with what we think is a neck strain, but looks like it possibly is worse than the neck strain. You guys want to run him like he's Lamar Jackson.
He's worse. We know it's worse. But the thing that doesn't make any sense to me is that's your philosophy. That's your philosophy that you want to punt the football. Like, how's that a winning formula?
It's not.
We're playing for the punt.
It's not.
We're playing.
You're not even playing to lose. You're playing to punt the ball away. Like, because your defense, they gave up 266 yards rushing, is perfect.
And I'm so frustrated because people actually defended that shit. People were literally defending those quarterback sneaks. Like, no, you got to try. You have to try. That's why you play the game. You're playing to win football games. You got to at least make an effort to get the first down. That right there is the shit that pisses me off. Is because I watch this team. You just do two quarterback sneaks. You know you're not getting nothing with that. So you're playing to punt the football. Right now, this is your strategy. Right now, I'm going to play to punt the football. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to set ourselves up for the punt. Nobody does that. No respectable coach does that. And if you don't got players you feel confident in, then you shouldn't have those players anyway. And you're part of that issue also. So it's oh man.
I just don't know how you defend that. That's my thing. It's like, and I give Joe Judge a lot of slack. I really do. Like, because like I said, I like to see things out. I will be surprised if he is fired, but that's a fireable offense right there. You're not even playing to win. I'm telling you what Joe Judge is trying to do. He's playing to get quote unquote better field position for his defense so that he can get better field position because he knows his offense can't move the ball. And he's hoping that his defense comes up big to score points because that's the only way he's scoring points unless Graham Gano is on the field. which we haven't even brought them close to being able to get onto the field because we can't even drive the ball down the field. I mean, we're getting excited that they're converting on first downs. That's their job. Teams around the league make it look effortlessly. I mean, the Eagles, as much as I hate the Eagles and I hated Doug Peterson, I actually respected that, like, he believed in his team enough to go for it almost on every fourth down. They hardly ever punted the ball. Now, granted, a lot of times it bit him in the ass, but a lot of times he was successful with it. He believed in his team that he could do it. We don't even have a coach that believes that his offense can convert on a 3rd and 9, let alone, a 2nd and 9. I apologize. And then a 3rd and 9 again because your QB sneak didn't even gain a positive yard the first time you ran it.
I mean, this comment from Miz. I know the O-line is horrible, bro.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's
but
atrocious.
But I just feel like good coaches still find ways to make plays some kind of way, somehow. You know, it's just hard for me to accept this team looking just the way they look. It's just it's an embarrassment because it's not just bad; it's embarrassing. Like I said, the losing part isn't what's upsetting me. It's the way we're losing. Like I said, I can accept losing because the talent's a little less than other than the competition. The injuries, we have major injuries or whatever, and I can accept that. But I got to see this team play with some damn pride and look like they belong in the NFL. This is the New York Giants, and like Daryl Johnson after the game said it best. They were showing teams in the last 5 years the worst records, and the fact that the New York Giants are lumped in with the Jets and the Lions and teams like that, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look natural. We're the New York Giants. We're not one of those franchises. We're not supposed to be bottom of the barrel, the laughing stock of the league. We're the New York Giants. We got pride over here. So
no, you're right. You're right. And it's sad, man, because look, the Jets, who are right now down by 3 points, if they win, which I doubt, but if they do win, we will now solely have the number one most losses, since what was it, 2015? They were showing that graphic on TV today, because we're right now tied with the Jets. So with that one loss, right now we have the first. So if the Jets lose, I mean it'll be a tie again. But if the Jets win, we got the most losses. That's how bad we are right now.
That's true.
And it's sad because it's like I'm not used to it. I'm not as old as you guys are, obviously, or like everyone else in the Big Blue crew. But I remember the Super Bowls. I remember 2007. I remember 2011. I remember how good it felt to go in the playoffs in 2016, despite knowing that our offense was bad. I have not felt that good in 5 years, but I still watch this team week in and week out. And honestly, this year was a testament to myself that if I could watch this team week in and week out, I can achieve a lot. Because any other regular fan, man, they would have just turned off the TV. And there were a lot of fans that openly say, I haven't watched since week 3. I haven't watched this season at all. I have nothing to look forward to. And I might side-eye it a little bit, but I can't knock them. I mean, because you're not putting a product on the field that's even worth people going out of their day to watch it. You're not. The Jets right now look like a better team. And you have the media going at Robert Saleh saying that he should be fired. You didn't even give the man a year.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That would be ridiculous over there. I think he's done a pretty damn good job, all things considered, with that football team. And I think he has his quarterback of the future, I believe, because that kid, the light bulb seems to have come on with Zach Wilson. So I think their future could be bright up there with the Jets, man. They just have a couple more good drafts away from being like in mixing the AFC East. But this team, this New York Giants
team stinks.
Man.
That's it. It stinks. When you're sitting here and the Jets are doing better or have the same record as you and their expectations were far less. We spent $200 million for a 4-13 record.
Yeah.
The Jets are
$200 million
rebuild
for a 4-13 record.
That's where I'm at with it, man. Just exactly what you just said. Like at least in the 2016 year when we 16 season when we did that, we at least did field a team that made it to the playoffs.
Right.
I didn't agree with the philosophy and everything, but at the same time, we did field a team that at least made it to the playoffs. They did what it was supposed to do, in a sense. You know what I mean? We didn't.
And that could have advanced in the playoffs had certain receivers catch the ball.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because Eli actually was serving them up.
They make some catches. We're going to the next round. We had playoff Eli going out there.
Yeah,
I had no doubt. I had no doubt in my mind. We beat Green Bay. We might be at the holding the Lombardi.
Honestly, yeah, I'm 100% there with you. Because honestly, at the end of that game, man, I was beyond mad. But I'm saying to myself, if those catches are made, this team is going on a run. Because this defense was playing lights out. They were gassed out in that game. I would kill to just have 9 wins right now. Okay, and it's like, and the standard, and that's what I love about the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? They are technically right now in the playoffs, and they're having what they consider a down year. Could you imagine that? Oh, our team sucks this year. We're doing bad, but we're in the playoffs. Really? Well, while Judge is getting praised for scoring a single touchdown, 2 and 44 drives.
Absolutely. It's the same thing I was saying, same way I was on that earlier. Like, okay, you score a touchdown. That's their job. They're supposed to score touchdowns.
Exactly.
They need to score them in a bigger abundance than 1 and 4 every.
That's like the waiter not getting you the meal when you ask for it, or the mailman not delivering you the mail. Like, that's their job. Like, am I clapping that my food is brought to me? Am I clapping that the mail was delivered? Give me a break.
I call it you applaud a fish for swimming.
What's going on, bro?
What's good, Rodney?
What's going on, man? What's going on, Adam?
Rodney, you're
Hey,
the guy.
man.
You're the guy that been chasing me down, huh?
Oh, hey, let me tell you something, Adam. I'm gonna tell you this now, man. The first time I saw you on the stream, man, I was like, yo, who is this guy? Because I gotta listen to him because your rants, and I started to call, I'm not saying it in a bad way. They are epic. Okay? Literally, they are epic, man. I love listening to you.
Appreciate it.
We may disagree at times, man, but I love listening to you, man.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that.
No problem there.
But
we're gonna have a busy off season. I'll tell you that much. From scouting, from
look at the Jets right now. Look at the Jets. The Jets are down 10-7 against a better team in their division, and we're sitting here can't even beat the lowly Washington football team. Don't even have a freaking name, and we can't even beat this squad.
They don't even have a quarterback, man.
Okay.
Sorry.
They don't have a quarterback. They have a guy. They have a quarterback that's probably worse than Jake Fromm and Tyler Heineke, and yet here we are.
Yep.
But here's the question, though, Adam, man, because you're comparing the Jets to the Giants, and I understand what you're saying as far as what they're doing on the field. I'll say this. As far as what I saw today, as far as the first half is concerned, I thought we could have done a better job of moving that football. We could have done a way better job.
absolutely.
But it just
Let me ask you this question real quick, though. We spent $200 million. What did you expect? What were your expectations this season?
You want my honest opinion on that?
Yes.
Okay, I was against even bringing in Galladay. I didn't see the whole point of it if you're not going to build an offensive line. And the fact that you had faith in this offensive line really bothered me. It went back to the draft when we sat there and we didn't take not one single offensive lineman. That I didn't agree with wholeheartedly. So I didn't agree with the spending of the money. I didn't agree with how the draft was handled.
Okay, so I guess let me rephrase it. When you spend $200 million, what do you expect a football team to be at the end of the year?
When you do that amount of money with who you brought in, you're telling your fan base you are ready to win now.
Bingo.
Okay.
That's all you needed to say. And what my point is with this guy is that when you underachieve the way they did, I don't care. Everyone wants to give this guy excuse after excuse after excuse. Excuse is like an asshole. Everybody's got one. Okay. So I'm tired of hearing about excuses. I need results. This is a result-oriented business. The only reason I'm saying about the Jets is the Jets expected to win little to no games this season. They've got 4 wins, and we've got 4 wins. They've spent less money than we did, and here they are fighting hard in a game, which everyone wants to talk about, fighting hard in a game against a division opponent, a team that's far better than them, and yet they have 7 points and it's making a game of it at the half. Yet we, against a division opponent, can't even move the football up and down the field.
At
Yeah,
all.
but Adam, you got to look at how this whole year started. Yeah, and I would tell you to go back to how last year ended and what transpired because one, nobody expected the injuries that we had. No one could have predicted that. And I'm not saying injuries is an excuse, but it's a big problem.
Yeah.
With just the way that how I mean, just look at how the whole year played out, play calling. Okay, we can all agree that the play calling was horrible, even going back to last year.
Oh yeah,
You know, they should have fired Garrett. They should put it like this: they should never brought in Garrett to begin with. But
Hmm.
that's here and there. The fact that what I'm saying is that I didn't have high expectations for this team until I saw what they were going to do as far as free agency and the draft coming into this year, because I wanted to see them bring in a O lineman. I wanted to see them
right,
draft O lineman. I could have cared less about getting this guy weapons. I could have cared less about that
right,
because all
exactly,
that's all I saw on Twitter was get him weapons, get him weapons. Okay, you get him weapons, but how is he going to get the ball to him if nobody's blocking?
right. And
We look
they said in the draft after it was over that they trusted the guys on their team, which to me was a gross miscalculation of resources on your squad, which is also a
Exactly.
fireable offense because you didn't bring any. You did the one faux pas that you never do in the NFL, and that's let your roster dictate. Let your roster dictate your needs in a draft
Okay,
because
well,
you never do that. You never say, "Well, we have a great offensive line, and I'm not going to draft a lineman because of that." If the best player on the board is a lineman, you take the lineman and you figure out how to put him in on your team.
absolutely.
that's
Here's the
absolutely right.
one big
It-
thing also that comes. I want for a real quick jump in, but it comes back to mind with the draft is because if we look extra bad because we had two le- legit stud rookies that we could have drafted that we were positioned to get Micah Parsons defensively or
Or
uh,
Slater.
or Slater offensively for the Chargers. These both of these guys right now are like, I mean, they're legit. They're the real deal. We had an opportunity to get either one of them,
Yeah.
and we just we'll trade the pick down. I mean, yeah, it looks good. We got extra pick this year, and it all looks good. I mean, I'm not hating on Kadarius Toney, but he hasn't been healthy. So it,
Yeah, but there goes another invaluable resource. You spend $72 million on a receiver, and then you draft one in the first round.
And you
Like,
know
what
what?
kind of thought process is that when you know that you need offensive line help?
What
well,
And
I
not
didn't
pisses
one,
agree.
me off.
and then you traded
Oh,
down, got extra picks, and then traded up and took a cornerback when we spent money on a cornerback. And then in the 6th round, when you could have probably got Trey Smith, you decided to get Rodarius Williams and Gary Brightwell, both of which one was injured early on, the other one didn't see the field at all, and now is on the injured reserve. Meanwhile, Trey Smith is playing all pro level for the Kansas City Chiefs as they head to the playoffs.
and you know something? That's what's gonna piss me off is that if this team takes a corner early next year, honestly, I think that's even worse because you had an opportunity when you traded up to get Creed Humphrey. The opportunity was there, and you decided not to. Like you said, Adam, you opted to get a corner when you just signed a corner to a major contract in Adoree Jackson. On
Right.
top
What's
of
the
that,
point?
exactly,
You have Darnay Holmes as well.
and you already drafted one in the third round also.
Right, but no, my
exactly.
point is that you didn't need to. I understand you wanted Aaron Robinson, but you had Darnay Holmes already on your team. Okay,
Yep.
so you had Adoree Jackson, Darnay Holmes, Bradbury, and then you decided to go and spend resources on a cornerback after you spent money getting a guy in here.
And you traded up because you felt that the Eagles were gonna take him.
Right, and then you
Really?
kept Sam Beal for like 90% of the season.
It's just and I agree with you. That's a fault right there. There's so many. There's a lot of issues, man. I mean, And I
This
get
is
it.
why
You
I
got
say
a
it's beyond
first-round
coaching.
pick, man.
It's beyond coaching for
Right.
me with Joe Judge. It's everything that he touches turns to mold, not gold, mold, right? Because you let him in there on the roster decisions. He's helping to make these decisions. He's telling Gettleman, yes, we need to draft Aaron Robinson. Why? Well, I don't know why. We need him on the team. You know, instead of draft, I know you drafted 3 linemen in the 2020 draft, but you know, then you brought in 2 other guys, and then here's another faux pas. How about this? Okay, like my son says, how about that, right? He gets guys retired at the beginning of training camp, not the end, the beginning of training camp, and then you wait till the week prior to the season to pick up anybody.
Yeah.
You didn't address it at the beginning of free agency or training camp where you can get players left and right because they're being cut left and right. You waited till after everything was cut down, and you didn't even grab guys that got cut. You traded for players. You bought in Brad Brederson. They gave him, listen to this. You gave up a draft pick for Ben Brederson, a 4th rounder this year. For Ben Brederson, barely even started games for you. You gave up Billy. You got another guy, Billy Price, barely started games for you. I had the people on the other stream tell me they cut Jonathan Harrison, even though they had him. I'm like, well, you like Jonathan Harrison. You cut him and brought him back 3 weeks later. You could have not have wasted Billy Price and used Jonathan Harrison, and then if you got injured, you could have shuffled the line around. You brought in Wes Martin off Redskins practice squad. I mean, we can go down the list here. It's not like that, but when you lose Mooney and Fulton or Looney and Fulton at the beginning of the training camp, and you wait 4 weeks later to bring in guys, come on,
And
that's
let's be
fireable
real
right
here.
He felt good with what he had. Those guys were only coming in to be depth pieces, and he felt good with what he had apparently, and that's part of his failure. That's exactly what you just said. That's part of his
But
failure.
that's not all on Judge, though. That's not all on Judge.
But
Yeah, but
let's be honest here, right? Do y'all
he's in
really
part of the
think
discussions.
Do y'all really think that Fulton or any of the players that retired, Joe Looney, excuse me?
I know where you're going with this.
Do y'all really think it would have made that much of a difference, man? I mean, it's
No.
not like they were colonial players.
No, I'm just
You
saying
know,
the
it's like-
process. I'm just saying the process to which picking up players
Oh no,
was
I know
kind of
what you
dumb to
mean.
me.
Yeah.
Was kind of done to me. Those guys retired early on in camp. That guy didn't even last a week, Looney. He came in, he got signed for camp, ran a lap, and retired.
I mean, I get what you guys are saying. I wouldn't say that it's all on Joe Judge. A lot of that's got to be Gettleman involved. Just
I'm
player.
there with you.
You
'Cause
know,
I don't
it's
think
got a
all
lot to
Joe
do with
Judge's
that.
fault.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, we act like the head coach doesn't sit on these meetings and have privy to what's going on. You know, it's. I know Gettleman, is there, but the head coach can't just be oblivious to what's going on. He's like, I mean, you see them in training camp all standing there like idiots with their freaking hats on, coercing about whatever they need to talk about. So it's not like they aren't on there saying, "Hey, Looney's retiring." Oh, great. We'll wait 4 weeks later after playing the Browns and all this, and then trade to the Bengals, who get rid of Billy Price. The Bengals, who aren't a great team to begin with, are giving away linemen for basically a bag of balls, right? You got rid of B.J. Hill, a guy you drafted, for a guy in Billy Price.
On top of that, you trade for 2 corners during the season as well, which, I mean, we signed Adoree Jackson, we signed Aaron Robinson in the draft. You just selected Darnay Holmes. How many corners do we need on this defense?
Right. And
Well,
then
as you can see right now, we did need him. That was
You
kind
traded
of
for
the
Brad
pick.
Bettison.
Now we needed them, because Dory got injured and whatnot.
I mean, you can't predict that people are going to go down. I mean, it is the NFL and people are going to go down. But when you have, I mean, my point is, you had Sam Beal on this roster till the cows came home. Like, so you had players on the roster that you could have invested in, and yet you still went and double dipped at both wide receiver and cornerback. Your team that you strengthened via free agency prior to walking into training camp. And in training camp, when you bring these 2 bums in Fulton and Looney, they both retire. And 4 weeks later, you bring in Billy Price and then Brederson, and you traded a 4th round pick for Brederson, and he didn't even play. You got a guy named Matt Sakura who's washed off the practice squad. Like, this is how you do it. You're bargain basement shopping when you could have given valuable assets to a team and actually got an up and coming lineman. No, you didn't even offer Kevin Zeitler, who's playing at a Pro Bowl level, a contract, or even negotiate a restructure of the deal. You let him go, okay, to keep Nate Solder, who didn't play football all last year and even said he wasn't in shape. Even said it. And you kept the guy. Why? Because you wanted to be the swing tackle. Now you got Cam Fleming, who's over in Denver playing.
I just think that there was a lot of mistakes that were made in, basically evaluating the roster and how it was set up, who was there, who was present. Again, we can't predict the injuries that happen. You know, there's
No.
no way to predict that. Like I said, my biggest issue was just not addressing the O line when we had the opportunity last year.
Oh, and I agree with you. And that's a fireable offense in itself.
But
As
I'm
bad
not
as
gonna.
bad as bad as it was, it definitely.
Yeah, but I
It,
wouldn't
it,
put that
it,
in. I wouldn't put that entirely on, the head coach because again, yeah, he does have some say in that. I will say that he does have some say, but who is over him that is basically saying, look, this is what you have. You're gonna have to work with this. Even if Joe Judge is in the background saying, no, this is not right. I need this. I need this. I need more. I can't work with what I have. It's almost as if, okay, you know what? He really doesn't have much control as we all think he does. That label as head coach, that probably comes with a bunch of caveats and within it as well. You gotta always, I mean, he's a first year head coach from last year. This is the second year.
Listen,
I
and I
honestly
get it.
don't think he probably had a lot of control to really make a whole lot of decisions.
And I hear you on that. And I know that there's growing pains that we need to go through with a first time head coach. But there are a lot of decisions on the field that he made that make me raise a red flag. Like today, what the hell are you calling timeouts for at the end of the game? Like, what is the point of calling timeouts when you're beaten down 22 to like 7, and you're still calling timeouts at the end of the game? Like, what are
I'll
you?
agree with that. I
What
will
is that?
agree wholeheartedly with that.
Like that's what I want a beat reporter to ask. Like, what the hell are you calling timeouts for with 4 minutes to go in the game of a game that's basically over?
Yeah, I mean, all through the year, he's had a lot of questionable on the field calls. You
Like
know,
Pat Shermer had those questionable calls, but yet at least his offense scored points.
but you got to admit, this is a totally different offense than when Pat Shermer was here coaching. It's a different offense. Again, like I said, I'm not making excuses, for Joe Judge or the Giants organization as a whole. I'm looking at it from, just an outsider giving my opinion about what I see as far as from my perspective. It just
No, and you're
seems that
not wrong.
I just seen that there's no cohesiveness there as far as what's going on in that front office and how it's being projected onto the field and everything else. It's so much that needs to get done. And going into this season, I knew looking at the roster,
Look at the
looking at,
Pittsburgh coach. He's dancing with his team as they win 9 games.
hey, I mean, but you have to look at the situation. Our situation is totally different than any other team that's there. And the fact that we went into this season with, I'm not saying me, but just fans' optimism that we're going to be such a good team. I was looking at it as, okay, glass half full. If we won 10 games, that was a lot. That would be amazing. If we won more than 6 games, that would have been amazing. But I looked at this roster and I was like, I don't see it. Not with Jason Garrett calling plays, not with this O line the way it is, not with everything that was going on as far as Saquon coming back, DJ, playing up to what he should be playing up to. It was just so many different things that just had me looking at this Giants organization and like, you know what? If we make it out of here with more than 6 wins, I think that's a plus
And you know
because I
what? If we
really
did,
didn't see it.
I would have brought everybody back if we had 6 wins. I would have been like, at least you
Absolutely.
matched your total from last year. But when I see that you regressed from year 1 to year 2, that causes alarms that go off in my head. The fact that you started out and your first press conference at the beginning of the season to the folks was, it's going to take us 4 weeks to get us in our shape. So bear with us as we go through that. To me, it's like, well, what do you mean 4 weeks? We gave you training camp. You need to come out the gate and beat these teams out the gate, not 4 weeks later. And it took them a little while to get adjusted. And by the time we won a game, We were like what 1-4 against the Saints that we
Yeah.
kept alive, and then we couldn't do anything the next week. Like it's not like this team didn't have chances to win games that blew it. And I can't put it all on just sheer stupidity when at the beginning of the year we lost to Atlanta, who now has a better record than us. We lost to Denver, who now has a better record than us. Okay. We lost to Washington twice, a team that people on streams told me we're going to own this year. Straight up, verbatim, we're going to own the Washington Redskins. I'm not worried about them. And I said to the people, what do you mean by that? It's a new year. Oh, no. We're going 12-5, and, we're going to beat the Washington Redskins. Don't even worry about it.
I'm guilty of that Washington foolishness. I'm not even going to lie.
I'm just saying. And I'm not trying to call you out, Mac. All I'm saying is,
I know I'm guilty. I'm just saying.
I'm mostly calling out people on other streams who basically told me that I was wrong when I said, watch out that we may not beat these Washington Redskins. Oh, well, we're going to beat them. I don't care. Until they prove me otherwise. Well, they beat us twice. Guess who else beat us twice? The Dallas Cowboys beat us twice. The Eagles split with us. We won one division game this year. One.
Yep.
One division game.
Only be one.
I get what you got. I get what you're saying, Adam, but you got to look at it as what is going on. And again, I'm not using it as an excuse because there are other teams that were decimated with injuries. I mean, Baltimore was decimated. And look how good, they kind of eked out a decent season, barring all the injuries. But
yeah, but they were competitive in their games.
Yeah, but
you're
right. You're right. You're absolutely right. But
and that's what I'm talking about. It's the competitiveness of this team, man.
That's
what
were
you expecting though?
I was expecting a better showing. I really was. With a guy who came in here. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. All I know is that when you get hyped about being close to winning the division the year before, and that's what they're basing everything off of a 6-10 fluky record, which means you still suck anyways, because the division sucked and we were one game out of it because of the Washington Redskins beating the Philadelphia Eagles. Imagine we went to the playoffs last year. Imagine that. Imagine what we would be saying right now. It would be a totally different story. He definitely would be fired then, because you go from the playoffs to the dump.
I mean, if we made the playoffs, it would have been the same thing that happened to Washington. We would have been out. Literally, that first round game, we would have been out. Period.
Yeah, but I had people saying, "Oh, we would have beat Tampa Bay. Look what we did in that game." The
playoff Tampa Bay is different.
They're like, "Oh man, we would have kept up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because we did it in the regular season." Give me a damn break.
Playoff Tom Brady is a whole different animal.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar, you morons. We're sitting here telling me that we're going to beat the damn Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs. Give me a break. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, I understand what you're saying, and I forgot what's your name again, Rodney?
Yeah.
Rodney. I understand what you're saying, and the circumstances lead to where the circumstances lead to. But as a coach, you're supposed to make chicken soup out of chicken shit. That's what you're supposed to do. And when I have teams like the Lions, who are worse for wear than we are, playing fucking hard-ass football against the Green Bay Packers at the end of the year, and I'm sitting here watching Jake Fromm not even know how to fucking fumbles a football standing in the middle of the field.
Did anyone even hit the ball when that happened?
No. It came out of his hand like an idiot.
Literally.
Yeah.
It just came out of his hand.
Like this Murphy's Law with this team. What could go wrong does go wrong. And we're sitting here and we have Jake Fromm who loses a pass at the end of the game. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. And this guy.
Come on, Adam. Come on, Adam.
That's
that's
big news.
You can't even keep a straight face. I don't even see your face, but I can tell you're laughing through the microphone because you know how ridiculous this sounds right now.
Chris Bucco breaks some news right here, fellas. He's saying the feeling in the stadium is that Judge is getting let go, man.
Well, good. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, you jackass.
I knew that was coming. Hey, look, I don't agree on letting Judge go, and I'm not saying it because I think he's a good coach or whatever. I don't.
Rodney.
Just hear me out, but hear me out before you jump. Hear me out first. Hear me out. I know it's coming, but just hear me out. The only way I would agree with bringing in a new head coach is if the new head coach has had experience. And I'm talking about Sean Payton, Pete Carroll type experience. That's
What about
what I
Dan
want.
Quinn?
Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator down in what is it, Dallas?
Yes.
He's had coaching experience by
But
all means.
would he be okay if the Giants were sniffing around that guy?
I would take him in a heartbeat because he's
Okay.
got coaching experience.
And I'm not disagreeing with you there on that. But I'm not going to keep Judge just to keep Judge because we're like, oh well, I don't like the candidates that are out there. I'm saying bring in a guy if the GM decides. This is all for me. If the GM comes in next week, next 2 weeks, and says these are the guys I know I can bring in, I'm going to sit there and let him decide. Interview Joe Judge, see how Joe Judge can impress him. Say, hey, you're a used car salesman. I don't want the lemons you're trying to sell me here. Get the hell out of my office. Then I want to let that happen. What I don't want is what's been happening with the Giants, and that is forcing guys upon other players, right? You get Joe Judge, you have Dave Gettleman hire Joe Judge. Now you're firing Dave Gettleman only to possibly keep Joe Judge for the next GM. Give me a break. The GM should be able to fire whoever he wants. Say, I don't want this bum. What has he done? 10 and 22, and you want me to keep him? Why? Because he makes a filing cabinet in alphabetical order?
Okay, but you're going.
He put a Keurig machine in the building.
But you gotta understand, Mara is involved now. Okay, you know that Mara is involved because
it's so Steve Tisch.
Yeah,
and I hear what you're saying. But just because the guy puts in a Keurig and gets you a filing cabinet doesn't mean you should keep him next year.
But you have to understand though, Adam, if you have Mara, if you're the GM coming in, okay, Adam, you're the GM, and I'm Mara, and I'm telling you, okay, look, I'm willing to hire you because I like your philosophy, I like your where you want to go with this. But I am telling you that you have to keep Joe Judge. What are you going to tell me?
I'm putting in my 2 weeks right now.
Okay, you have to be willing. They have to be able to find a willing GM to come.
I'm putting in my 2 weeks as we speak.
But basically that's what they're doing. You're limiting your options as far as GM by putting that out there right then and there. We're keeping Joe Judge. We're planning on bringing him back. So right then and there, you as a GM know you are literally going into that situation with your hand tied behind your back because you have to keep the head coach. You have to. I'm the owner telling you have to do it. You just limited at least a good percentage of your GM candidates.
Right. Why would you want to do that if you're trying to tell me you're going to get GM candidates? Why are you forcing a guy who's done nothing on me? I would not, the only person who would want this job is a guy who's going to, this is what I would do if I was GM. I'd lie to John Mara and say, yeah, I'll keep Joe Judge, turn around and fire his ass right then and there.
And you're probably walking out the door with them too,
Good.
That would tell me how serious you are about turning this thing around. That's what that would tell me. That would tell me how serious you are about turning around if you won't let your GM come in and do what he needs to do. Because like you just said, you can't just say, I want to hire you, but you got to keep Joe Judge. That's a joke.
Let me ask you this question.
Right now.
Have you had any job do that? Have you had it? Because I know that my jobs that I've been hired for have, they've looked at my resume, they've hired me, but then they didn't say, well, guess what? You're now gonna work in a freaking porta potty instead of a cubicle. Is that okay? Like, no, I don't want to work in a fucking porta potty. Oh, but that's the only room we have for you is in a porta potty. We're still going to pay you your salary. We have to work in a fucking shithole.
But I mean, you get what I'm saying though with that. I don't know, what has it been, a month and a half, where they basically said, they came out and they said, we're bringing Joe Judge back. You just limited half of your GM candidates right there. You eliminated them.
He didn't really say we're bringing Joe Judge back. What he said was, I would love to bring Joe Judge back because he's a smart guy and, I like the way his philosophy is, but, right now he's our guy, but things could change. And that's what he said, and now people ran with the blurb of he's bringing Joe Judge back. Now, if I'm Joe Judge and I hear that, then get my guys ready. Now I've got players in the locker room who are pissed off that you went for 3 quarterback sneaks inside your own 10-yard line. So now you want to bring these undisgruntled fans, these disgruntled players back to a guy who's, like I said, fix the Keurig machine in the middle of the fucking, facility, and you're like, oh, great job. He's clear. I've had bosses do that. I've had bosses come in and say, yeah, we're changing everything up. Look, I brought a new Keurig machine. Like, great. What direction are we going with the company? Well, we're just going to keep everything status quo. Give me a break. What the hell are you brought in here for? He's supposed to be the smartest guy in the room. He does his damn coaching thing every week that I tape on MSG. That he's like, oh, well, this is the play, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, that's the play. You can't get that. You're telling me after the fact. I need you to make in-game adjustments on offense. You went into halftime and said, well, we're going to run the football. Come out in the first play of the game, you get a false start.
Well,
I mean,
we can both agree. We can both agree that, like I said, the play calling, that's one of the biggest detriments to this team, this season as well, as the play calling. And I don't know if you guys were under the expectation that it was supposed to get better with Freddie Kitchens. I hoped it was more
I didn't expect it to get better, but I didn't think it was going to get worse. I didn't think it was going to get worse.
I thought it was going to at least be the same. Yeah, at least be the same.
Like, give me a little bit different motions, right? I mean, the first game against the Eagles, when he comes back, like everyone told me the game plan against the Raiders is great. It wasn't great. Right, they come against the Eagles and they change it conceptually. They changed the thing. There were more rub routes. They were throwing deeper passes. I mean, like, look at today. They threw a deep pass to Galladay. That guy didn't even stretch out and dive for the football. Shows you how much effort he gives.
That's what I mean. Like, who's that a reflection of?
But that's not Judge's fault, though. That's not Judge's fault.
You say it's not, but if that's a coach he truly respects, he's going to give it everything he got, regardless of the situation.
Right. You want to put your body on the line for this guy.
He didn't even feel like reaching out for the pass.
He's like, oh, sorry. I don't want to die.
I'll agree with that.
But then you go back and you look at CeeDee Lamb and you're watching CeeDee Lamb as he is punching people in the mouth for Ezekiel Elliott running the football. We can't even get this guy to block on certain plays. And he can't even reach out to catch a football. That is a reflection on your coach. Because when I played football back in high school, no, of course, it's not the same thing. But when we believed in our coach, we went out and played no matter what for our guy. Okay, even if we didn't agree with the play call, we went out there and said, all right, this guy's got the best interest in mind for me. So then you come out there and you have a guy who dials up the correct play. You have the quarterback dial up the correct ball, and you decide to run downfield and then stick your hands out, and it goes right through your hands. You don't even dive. And you get paid $72 million. You're supposed to be an example on this team. And meanwhile, in Washington, you were sitting there yelling at people. Your coach, you're yelling at your quarterback, and you wanted the football. But then when we give you the football, you do nothing with it.
And just to go more into that, like Galladay, I mean, for what it's worth, for the Detroit teams he played on, he played hard for those coaches. You know what I mean? So what's the disconnect here? He made that play for the Detroit Lions, and they were a bad football team, but he made that play for Detroit. What's the difference? The only difference I see here is the coaches, man.
Right, and if they get a new coach, and this is not necessarily directed to anybody in here, but if they get a new coach and a new GM, I'm giving them 3 years before I found a flesh. Okay. Even if it's an established guy, because I know that we're not in the right position right now to do anything. All I know is right now, if you're going to fire the GM, who also is, what the hell? If we were going to fire the GM and not even bring in the coach and GM together, then what are we doing here? We're half-assing it. I do not want to half-ass anything. If you're going to rip the Band-Aid off and go for it and tell the fan base, we're going to build through the draft. We're going to do this, and this. We're going to give this new coach 10 players. He can decide on Daniel Jones if he wants, and we'll go from here. And we're going to believe that these guys coming in lockstep can do it. Look at the 49ers. I tell this to everybody. The 49ers got 6 years. They brought in John Lynch, a guy who'd never been a GM in his life, and they brought in Kyle Shanahan, who basically choked in the Super Bowl against Atlanta and did the same thing against the Kansas City Chiefs. They brought him in, and they built that team, and they turned this team around. Then they dipped in 2020 because of Jimmy Garoppolo not not doing well. And it was injuries, and their team played hard most of the year. And if it wasn't for Nick Mullins throwing it to the other team 90% of the time, maybe they're in the playoffs. They come back, they get their quarterback, and they're fighting for the playoffs right now. Will they make it? I have no idea. But that's what I'm talking about in terms of bringing in a GM with the same philosophy and the same coach. That's all I mean. That's all I want.
I hear what you're saying, and it's the right thing that should be done. Like I said, I love Joe Judge, but it's the right thing, man. At the end of the day, you need your general manager and your head coach on the same timeline. Because what are you going to do? You're going to bring in the next general manager and have the coach on the hot seat? Like, that ain't right for the general manager. Who's going to – I mean, I want to say who's going to take it, but one, it's the Giants, and two, it's the NFL. Somebody's going to take the job. But I don't want someone that's just going to take the job that's okay with Joe Judge being forced onto him.
Exactly.
I don't think Joe Judge is – and I love Judge. I keep saying this because I don't want someone to clip this and make it seem that I'm just, defending Joe Judge, period. But he hasn't done anything for me to say he 100% has to come back next year. If I'm an owner, what am I going to sell to the general manager coming in that he should be married to this coach?
Exactly. Hit Squad, you have brought up every point that I've brought up and made in terms of my thought process as to why to do that. Now, if this was like Bill Parcells, right, let's just say, and you knew what this guy was capable of, I'd be like, I'll give him a third year and see what he can do, right? At least he's had a track record. He's had things forced upon him. This is a new coach who hasn't had growing pains. I get it. A lot of stuff. I was giving Joe benefit of the doubt this year because the NFL needs to catch up with you after your first year. But when the wheels fall off the way they do, and your explanations on the podium are, well, I have to look at the tape. And then the last year, the thing you ramble on about, not this being a clown show and punching people and shit. And then you go out there and you just lay an egg for the last 7 weeks. I can't get behind it. And then I can't get behind it to have it for another GM candidate to say, yeah, let's marry this guy. He's done nothing in 2 years.
Which is why I said, for me personally, like, I wouldn't be upset with these losses if we was producing points. I wouldn't be upset if, we're keeping it. Yeah, we're keeping it competitive because of our defense. But if we were being competitive, the offense is in the game, our quarterback can throw more than one touchdown, and we don't got to go out there and punt the ball almost every damn drive. I would 100% be on here and say, we got to give him one more year for him to get this right. I'm going to be honest with you. We looked worse than we did in the beginning of the year. Well, and I didn't even think that was possible.
Hit Squad. My point is, if he won 6 games, I'm bringing him back. Because at least he run his total from the previous year. All right. And at least you've won more than Mac. You won almost as much as McAdoo, and you definitely beat Shermer. So, but you want to call those guys out who, by the way, people liked Pat Shermer. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they did play for him. And you go out there and you call them out as if you're like the second coming. No, you're not. You're some Joe Schmo from New England who thinks he knows everything. Your special teams barely did anything. They haven't had a block punt. The only thing we got out of the special teams is Graham Gano. We didn't get a punt return. Yet in 2 years, we've had a return touchdown against us, against the Bengals, a 102-yard touchdown return, right? Your punter has been abysmal for 90% of the year. Okay, but we don't want to cut him, apparently, because we don't have money. So players get cut left and right. Oh, my God. But here we are sitting here at a guy and even his unit that he's supposedly, a master of is not doing anything outside of producing a field goal every week. That is it. There are teams that cough 21 points. They go achoo, and they're up 21-0. When I see teams like the Jets, the Lions, the Texans find a way to win games and produce points, I'm like, wow, what are they doing that we're not? Oh, their head coaches who have little to no experience are actually doing something? I mean, look at the Jets right now. They're in a tight race with this Bills team. Believe it or not. You can say what you want, but if they happen to win and go 5-12.
They are very much in the game still.
We're not even in the game with a team that didn't even want to play on Sunday. The Washington Redskins didn't even want to play.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and at the time I understood why people wanted Shermer to go. I was saying I thought we just needed a new defensive coordinator.
That's
His
what I
joint
thought.
venture was
that's
terrible.
all we really needed. He got
Offense
literally
wasn't
got
the issue.
24
I would have cut
touchdown
his
passes
offensive
out
line
of
coach.
Daniel Jones in 12 fucking games.
Right.
So he
I would
clearly was
no-
on to something with that kid. He knew how
and
to
they
use
had no
that kid.
receiving core. They had
I was-
Golden Tate, Darius Slayton,
Yep.
and a
Fucking
bunch
Darius
of
Slayton
bunch of
had
also.
8 touchdown passes. And Darius
That's
Slayton caught 8
exactly.
touchdown passes. And he didn't
But-
play every game that season. So
Darius Slayton had people thinking he was a number 1 wide receiver going into 2020.
This is what we're talking about in terms of getting, because when Joe Judge came up on the press conference, we're all like, yeah, let's run through a wall. Don't show me what they can't do, show me what they can do. Well, they did nothing this year.
Yep.
They did nothing this year. You have Dexter Lawrence playing out of position. You don't move him once inside over the center.
I mean,
Give me
I'm
a
gonna
break.
be honest with you, and it's I have a personal relationship with Dexter Lawrence. I mean, I'm gonna make a video in the off season because like the Giants, they hold a special place in my heart because they've helped my family. Like I said, I'll make a video in the off season.
Sexy Dexter, I like it.
I've met Dexter Lawrence. I've had conversations with Dexter Lawrence. I still to this day, as much as I love him, man, he was not the pick that we needed right there. I'm gonna be real with you. You had Montez Sweat, man.
Yes.
Why are you taking a defensive tackle in the first round?
Listen, I love Dexter Lawrence, but if you're gonna put him at defensive end like Leonard Williams, he's 340 pounds. What do you expect to happen?
This is not what he is.
And you put Danny Shelton in there, give me a break. Put it and do like this is what I'm talking about with coaching. You're sitting there running the same shit out there every week and expecting a different result.
And you know what? This is what drives me crazy. And honestly, it drove me crazy at the time. And I thought that Ash made a great point on his live stream about this as well. You trade away Odell, who, look, I wasn't upset when Odell got traded. It is what it is. I'm a fan of the Giants when it comes.
I miss him.
I do miss him too.
Yeah, I miss anybody that wants to make plays.
Exactly. You know that you're going to sign your rookie quarterback in this draft. You cut your number 1 wide receiver and go sign Golden Tate and pick up a 5th round rookie and then trade up in the 1st round again to pick a corner. When DK Metcalf is there, you still got AJ Brown. You took a defensive tackle when AJ Brown is there, man.
Like
what is there?
This is what I'm talking about, right? And then you get there and you have yourself a running back who, is injured. You got a quarterback who nobody even liked. You fell in full bloom love with one series at the damn Senior Bowl because the guy you wanted went back to school to go play with his brother in Justin Herbert. And the next guy you had up there was a guy at the Senior Bowl who went to Duke. The only reason he didn't get number 17 coming out is because the Giants were like, no, we can't have you have Dave Brown's number because God forbid you guys both suck. We're never going to hear the end of this. So they gave him 8, which is 1 + 7 = 8, right? And so we have this guy who comes in here, throws 24 touchdowns, and has like 18 turnovers or whatever it is, and then we're like, oh, fire the coach that brought him in here after a year.
Yeah, and usually that buys coaches sometime when they draft a rookie quarterback. That a lot of people are saying that Matt Nagy should stay for another year because he drafted a rookie quarterback this year. But guess what? Matt Nagy's most likely gone, and that's what happened with Pat Shermer. And granted, look, I know Jones isn't Judge's guy. He should get his guy. I'm sorry. I think Malik Willis could be a pretty good project quarterback in my opinion. But there's just not a quarterback in this draft I'm going to choose over Daniel Jones. And I'm not saying Jones is the answer. I'm not.
Well, not in this draft, but at the same time, my fault, his squad. But at the same time, like he said, if Jones is not his guy, then he should have said that instead of saying, I'm good with going forward with Daniel Jones. Look at the Cardinals. Exactly. They got the Josh Rosen in the first damn round of the draft. And the very next year, they drafted they went on ahead and had no problem taking Kyler Murray and peace out, Josh Rosen. You're not the guy. Yep. We're going forward with this guy. And, exactly. and that's what it is. You know what I mean? So if that's how he really feels, if Daniel Jones ain't his guy, that can't be the excuse because he had opportunity to say, look, he's not my guy. can I bring somebody else in here? And you had opportunity to get somebody else.
And
I mean,
and
Justin.
honestly, that's what makes this offseason very interesting because there's going to be quarterbacks in the market that usually wouldn't be in the market. You may potentially see Derek Carr out there. You know, Deshaun, the Texans came out and said that they're going to trade him before free agency ends. So they already know that they're going to get rid of Deshaun Watson. You got Aaron Rodgers, who if Green Bay is smart, they're not going to let go, but they may potentially let go. Russell Wilson. There's going to be Marcus Mariota potentially. There's quarterbacks out there. And it's like, if you're going to bring in a new general manager, man, I want to say start it off clean, get rid of everyone, but I don't see that happening either. I mean, I don't. I feel in my heart of hearts, Mara's going to play it safe. He's going to and that may be getting someone from the outside, but it's going to be someone that goes with Joe Judge, that is on board the Daniel Jones train. That's just, I don't know, man. I'm not wishing it. I'm not, but I see it happening.
All right. So
But
what do you guys think about the quarterbacks that are coming in this upcoming draft?
I'm not taking them in the first or in the second round.
Yeah, I'm
Just
not feeling good about them either.
if I were to take one, I'm looking at the backup position. So maybe in the fourth at the highest. If
Yeah.
if they're feeling like they're not too sure on Jones and they think that he may not be good next year, if Malik Willis is there in the third, maybe. But I'm not really sold, to be honest with you. I'd rather just focus on because we have a lot of holes outside of our quarterback position. We got to fix the O
Yeah.
line. We need some depth at linebacker. We need some edge rushers. Um, we're potentially going to need another safety. Um, so I'm not sure. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
I'm
I
just
don't know.
I'm not opposed to taking the quarterback at the right price, but I'm not thinking any of them is a real upgrade to even what we got in Daniel Jones. And we know what we got in Daniel Jones. Obviously, it's not necessarily great either, but I just think he's better than what's coming out in this class right now. I just
I
don't
think
see
that
any.
no,
Go ahead,
go
Rodney.
ahead, finish, Matt.
I was just saying, I just don't think any of them are really going to upgrade our offense in the way we need it to be upgraded.
I mean, for me, I'm looking at it like this. If you could bring in a worthwhile backup that can compete for that starting job along with Daniel Jones, I think that's probably the best bet. I don't think that they should go and draft a quarterback in this draft. And the only reason why I say that is because of a couple of things. One, you really don't know what Daniel Jones can be until you put this young kid behind a competent offensive line to see what he can do. Now, it's all over. I mean, I'm on Twitter and I've seen everything where, they literally have just crushed this kid by saying, okay, he's not a franchise quarterback, he's not this, he's not that. Okay, I'm not going to argue that fact from based off what he's shown me. He's none of those right now. But I want to see what he can do with the offensive line, a competent play caller. I'd bring in if Derek Carr was available, I would think about Derek Carr. But Derek Carr's not coming in to be a backup. He's
Oh
coming in to
no!
start.
Oh no!
Yep.
Okay,
He's an upgrade from Daniel
Mariota.
Jones.
Yeah, he would be an upgrade from Daniel Jones. But you know that if you're going to spend that type of money for uh Derek Carr, you're saying again the same exact thing to the fan base. You are ready to win now. You bring in a Derek Carr, you're saying that we're ready to win now. You bring in a Russell Wilson, same exact thing, same scenario. You're telling the fan base, we are ready to win now.
Yep. Nah, you're
I
right.
would I would rather have Daniel Jones come back. You do not pick up his fifth year option. You make him compete with a worthwhile backup like a Mariota, and then see what you have from that point, and then move forward as such. But
Yeah. See, that's my thought process right there. To be honest.
you plus you have to look at this too. The cap room that we have is barely even there, and you could do all the cuts
Hmm.
that you want, but the moment you decide that you want to sign a Mariota or you bring in a free agent offensive lineman, you are pretty much taking away a lot of money that you would have to, to bring in maybe one or two other minor pieces for two major pieces, whether we truly need it or not.
Yeah.
I want to see what's out. I want to see what the free agency looks like with at least the QB situation, because if you could bring in a competent, like I'll take a Tyrod Taylor. You know he can play. You know he's able to move the ball down the field. I just think that that young man has been in, you know, less than ideal situations. And I'm not saying that coming to the Giants will be an ideal situation, but give him the opportunity to compete with Daniel Jones, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
You you find an
No,
offensive
that's
line
real.
that's yeah, you find an offensive lineman. If there's an offensive lineman out there that you could bring in for not a whole lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
then I would agree on that. As long as you're able
Absolutely.
to have room to be able to maneuver for the following year. That's what I would like to see.
And they'll have a lot more money in 2023. So this is only going to be a 1 year thing, and I think a lot of people forget that as well. But then you look at teams like the Saints, who people want to talk about how they're in cap hell. They're in cap hell. Every year they have enough money to not only sign their players, they get free agents, and they're fine. The good teams figure out how to maneuver the cap. They figure out how to also get the right pieces in here as well. And you know what? I actually had said this on another podcasting stream, where the great teams out there, they can find talent in the later rounds. And I'm not saying we're not incapable of doing that, because we found talent in the later rounds. But when I'm looking at like the Chiefs, where they found talent throughout the draft, especially in the later rounds, that are playing at an all-pro level on their offensive line. I mean, it's frustrating because those players were there for us and we just overlooked them completely and drafted, players that we felt that we needed, that realistically we didn't really need. Like I was excited for Rodarius Williams. I liked the signing, but I also felt that we didn't need a corner after just selecting a corner that we traded up for in the third round. So I just feel like if you could get the right person in here to evaluate this roster, because it's not like we have bums on this roster. I mean, we do, don't get me wrong, but we know
That's
those
some.
players aren't going to be here next year, most likely.
I mean, we got
But
some
we have
players
some
on here
talent.
too. We got
Exactly.
some.
We got some players.
I feel
But
like this is we. Like I said, the effort offensively is just disappointing, and I just don't really keep wanting to hear the excuse about the talent, because it's just, to me, it's just an excuse. I mean, other teams deal with major injuries as well. Like I said, the Tennessee Titans is the best example, man. They're right behind us in injuries they had, and they had major ones. They had major ones throughout the season, man. And they find ways to rebound. You find ways to work with who you got. The guys they running the ball with right now, okay, some of you other guys might be familiar with them. I'm sorry. Those are not household names. Those are not guys that anybody knew of or thought about. Nobody was thinking running out, drafting these guys on their fantasy football teams and things of that nature, man. These are guys that nobody really knew, and they step up when their number's called and they're getting the job done. And I'm that's where I'm just the least satisfied with this coaching staff. And you're right, it's not just all Joe Judge by himself. It's the entire staff. It's the whole entire just unit of the coaches, man. They're just not getting the job done. You're not getting the most out of the players. And I feel like at this level, these guys are all NFL talent, no matter what. Like I said, I know everybody's not as good as everybody else. There's always going to be people that are just better than the other person. But at the same time, you make it to the NFL, you're part of an elite group of people. A lot of people don't just fall off the trees and become an NFL football player. You have to have a certain level of talent to even be considered to play at this level, man. And if you are, when your number's called, you got to be ready to go, man. And it's up to the coaches to get you ready to go. And that's my biggest issue with these coaches and this coaching staff, man. They're not I watch other teams, next man up philosophy, get the most out of what they're working with. Even if it doesn't amount to wins, they're still getting the most out of that who they're working with. We're not doing that. We are truly failing when it comes to that in that category.
Well, here's something that, and I've actually thought about this during the off season last year. There's two guys that was playing in the XFL that's playing on two NFL teams right now. There might be more, but these two guys stand out the most. PJ Walker, the quarterback in Carolina,
Absolutely.
and Donald Parham. I think it's Donald or David, one of the two, that plays for the Rams, who just recently got hurt a couple weeks ago. I wondered whether or not anybody on that front office staff would have thought about actually going to look at some of these guys who were just playing during the whole, their season got shut down because of COVID. If these other teams actually went out there and looked at what was going on, what these teams were, what players were on these teams, why couldn't we do the same thing where our offensive line is concerned? Because I can pretty much tell you that there is a bunch of guys out there that would have at least made this offensive line look way better than the guys we picked up from different teams. Because there's a reason why they let go of Billy Price so quick when he was a former first round pick. There's a reason why. There's a reason why Matt Skura was on the practice squad. There was a reason why
Yep.
we got Ben Bredesen. I didn't agree with the fact that we traded for us. What was it, a 6th round pick for him?
Yeah,
That didn't make
something
any sense.
like that.
You know, but my thing is, I think a lot of it has to do with this scouting and this talent department because they're not. It it has to be. Those guys have not looked at talent and going about scouting in the way that I think it was necessary. They're not doing a good evaluation. They're not looking at those guys, as you say, second, third, third, fourth, fifth, and 6th round picks that's out there that's, you know, needles in a haystack that given a chance, by all means, they can probably be those guys that we're looking for. I think it goes all across the board where this Giants organization is concerned. They need a top down cleanse. And I mean a top down. You know what I mean? I know they can't fire the whole scouting department, but at least keep the ones that you have better faith in and get rid of the ones that you don't. That medical staff, that's another thing. Get rid of that medical staff, if not all of them. Get rid of the ones that you don't have faith in, and keep the ones that are at least doing their job competently.
I agree
But
with that.
it needs a top. I mean, it needs not a whole reset, blow it all up. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about literally someone going in and evaluating every single department, everything that you have there in that off season, and realizing, you know what, we don't only need to be worried about the players we're bringing in, but we also need to be concerned about the people who we have in this front office that's doing everything. We need to cut the fat where we need to cut it.
I totally agree with that. But fellas, look, man, I gotta get ready to wrap this one up, man. I appreciate y'all coming through, man, and showing me some love. This is my season finale of my aftermath. I've never even done an aftermath show that went longer than a half an hour or so. And this joint,
Yeah, we have 2.5 hours.
Then went down there 3 hours.
Yeah,
so, but this was this the last episode for the season anyway, and I appreciate y'all coming through, man. Thanks a lot, making this a strong stream, man. Rodney, really appreciate it. His squad,
yes, sir.
Adam, man, whole Big Blue crew, man. All love, man. We might disagree a little bit about this, but it's all love, bro.
No doubt, man.
Yes,
appreciate you having me.
Oh, word, man.
Thank you, for real, man.
All right,
Appreciate
man.
you having me on for the great stream.
Just want to say, let y'all before we get out of here, catch me Monday tomorrow night. Be on Adam's channel, Adam Costas' channel. We're gonna do the premium takes podcast. Me, Zion, and Adam. You know what I mean? So come through, check that out. 9:00 tomorrow night, and I'll catch y'all later, man. Thanks a lot again, fellas.
No problem, man. Definitely will. Thanks, man.
It's your boy Mac, the Giants fan.
All right.
Peace. Well, for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants Fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants Fan. That's MACDA Giants Fan.